real? Oh no. Yes. Let's go.
Boston
State of OH! Today. In Berkeley, California. You got it. This one's for three. AJ Hawk, $5,000. USA, USA, USA.
Dudes getting rich, team seeking fits, the glamour and the glitz of the big money pit. Who's signing where? Why they go there? This will help us win. Every team swears. So welcome to the show. Hey, from the Thunderdome. Hey, who's the next signing? We all wanna know. Free agency, frenzy, dreaming with your spending, massive cash sending. Who's falling off and who is ascending?
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this glorious, beautiful, chaotic, What a time to be alive. Thank you so much for joining us live from the Thunderdome. It's not just me. It's not just the boys that talks at table at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the hammer, Dahn. Cowboys AP Tone, 9-year NFL vet, one of the smartest humans to ever play football. Darius J. Butler is here looking incredibly cool. It's a massive day, boys. It's not just us. No. We got Adam Schefter here. And also in the free agency fun zone, we have Schrags and Dan Orlovsky who are going to be breaking down why things happen, how things happen, and they look incredibly cool. A nice little tag team of happiness over there in the corner. Don't you think so, boy?
Without a doubt, man.
Schrags, what should we be looking forward to today, you think, brother?
Salary cap went up to $301 million, meaning there's going to be a rush of signings with teams looking to spend. I look for the wide receiver market to open just as the bell opens in just a few seconds.
Okay, thank you, Schrags. Dan, you look really cool, not uncomfortable at all. The pants aren't too tight. Now, we actually have some breaking news to start this entire thing. Ladies and gentlemen, the belle of the ball was what he was named. A man who was a second-round draft pick out of Cincinnati to the Indianapolis Colts. A wide receiver that everybody wanted. Wow, this guy can take the top off a defense in this modern world where there's two-shell coverage and everybody's keeping everything in front. Is anybody going to be able to be explosive? Is anybody going to be able to go deep? Well, there was one man that did that this past season at a rapid rate. Alec Pierce. Where will he go? Well, he's staying with the Colts. Wow. Let's head over Adam Schefter. How the hell did this come to be, Shefty? And what do we know about the Alec Pierce Indianapolis Colts deal that I think is 116 over 4 years, Shefty?
Is that what it is, Pat? 160. So, again, just to confirm, because you're the insider here on your guy. Okay. The deal is done. I want to make sure.
Yes, the deal is done. 116 over 4. I'm being told he's the highest paid free agent wide receiver in NFL history.
Wow.
Chris Ballard, Carly Ursay opened up the checkbook. Now, the deal was done. I believe this is how the game is played, by the way. Deal is done by Mike Swenson and C.J. LeBoy, who also helped facilitate the Max Crosby trade to Baltimore. Okay. You know what Max and or Mike and C.J. are saying is, hey, we're in this thing. We're doing this thing. Alec Pierce stays in Indianapolis. D-Butt, huge news for the Colts. Now, Daniel Jones, potentially our quarterback. They put the transition tag on him last week. Yep. Not the franchise tag. Other teams can still sign him and make the Colts match an offer sheet. Albert Breer was reporting this weekend that the Colts offered him the Sam Darnold deal, which would be 3 years, $100 million, which is about 33 per. And then allegedly his team said, we're looking for 50 of them things a year. Now, whatever he can get, we certainly want him to get. Played with a broken leg and an Achilles tear last year. Led us to 8-2, but Alec Pierce said if Daniel Jones is the quarterback, that'll certainly make me want to come back. They had magic together, D-Bud.
Yeah, he's a game changer. Since he's come in the league, he's been a big play waiting to happen, an explosive guy. And when you look at that B-roll, you look at those highlights, a ton of his highlights, his biggest plays, his best plays, come against the best players and the best defenses in the league. So that's a guy that you want to keep in your building. Obviously, Chris Ballard and the Colts and the Ursays, they felt that way as well. This is a big signing, a big job. I know Conman probably wanted him in New England. Everybody wanted him if you want an explosive wide receiver. He changed the game. Defensively, that free safety. If he's in the middle of the field, you better lean the 14 side. If you're split safety, you better be aware of where 14 is. So this is a big-time signing by the Indianapolis Colts.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is the man who just signed the largest free agent wide receiver deal in NFL history. Wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, Alec Pierce.
Yeah! Let's go. What up, y'all? Yo, appreciate you guys having me.
Thought for sure you were gone, dude. We all did. We're so happy that you're back. Can you tell me a little bit about the process and kind of where your brain went through this all as they transition tagged Daniel Jones, which means they couldn't do anything to you. You set to hit the market. How did kind of the roads lead back here to Indy? We're obviously incredibly pumped about it, brother.
Yeah. No, I think, with the whole tag thing, I thought initially, and my agents thought initially that we were going to be getting some type of, franchise tag or whatnot. And they were going to be getting the deal done with Daniel, and things kind of went that way for Daniel. So then they ended up having to use a tag. So then it kind of opened it up like, oh, wow, like we're going to be the number one free agent receiver out here. So then those opportunities started flooding in. But I knew where my heart was. I knew, I love the city of Indianapolis. I just seeing where we were at last year, early in the year, like rolling. Like I truly believe we were the number one team in the NFL. And just obviously didn't finish out the season like we should have, but I think we get back to where we were. I believe in Daniel. I know they're going to get his deal done and lock him down. and I think we can be special.
Okay, let's talk about being special, because you're right. 8-2, number one team in the league. We had as the number one headline coming out of every single NFL weekend where the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. That's how damn dominant you guys looked. Defensive side looked good. Offense looked good. Special teams looked good. A litany of injuries happened. Then obviously down the stretch, lose 7 straight. What was the messaging from the team to you about like, hey, we can't go out like that? Was that ever talked about? Was that something you thought about? And why do you think this team still has the capability to go on and win the whole damn thing?
Yeah, no, I think, just from what we did early in the year, I think you see, like, we had something going. We have the same pieces, and it's going to be, especially offensively, I know we're going to have a lot of the same pieces and just keep on working to be better at that. And just, excited. We added my boy Sauce. We added him to the roster. And things just kind of, it felt like he got injured, stuff like that just was not really rolling our way last year, which you guys know how it is to really make the run and go the whole way. Like, there's things outside of, just football. Like, you got to be lucky in terms of, like, having people stay healthy, and a lot of things got to kind of fall your way. And I felt like those things didn't go our way last year, but, just excited to play with, like, my college teammate Sauce, and just, a lot of other things went into it. But I know we can be special.
Next time you post a photo with Sauce, let's make sure he doesn't look like a fat ass. A lot of people attacking him out there, Alec. A lot of people attacking him. You getting the bag that you earned and staying here, we're all incredibly grateful. Congratulations, man. Enjoy this moment. You earned it.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for letting us break it. You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Alec Pierce.
Yeah, Alec.
Okay, so quickly, what did you hear from him there, D-Butt, whenever he was chit-chatting? It was the glory days of that 8-2 time, which is, I think I need to find myself going back to a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a good run, and like you said, we all know you got to have a run of lucky things and being on your side to finish strong and kind of make a real push to win it all. They showed a lot of glimpses through that first half of the season, and now you get the whole gang back together. That'll help.
Knock on to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Too bad.
He said a lot of opportunities started flooding in. I didn't even want him to say. One of them was Vrabel caught? Because I think you would have really liked Vrabel.
Yeah.
Happy you didn't talk to him if that was the case in it all. But him coming back home, big deal. I thought Patriots were certainly a place that he could go to, especially because how good Drake can throw the deep ball. Drake is a great deep ball thrower, and they're building something and have cash. Obviously, Colts keeping them huge for us.
And just a team that needs a wide receiver. He mentioned he was the #1 wide receiver target in free agency for all of the entire NFL. I think a lot of people connected Luke Fickell, his college coach in Cincinnati, with Mike Vrabel, so that was big. Him mentioning Dan Jones, kind of they're getting a deal done there, something being there. That is also kind of very promising for Colts.
Yeah, he said that they're going to get a deal done. Okay, so maybe Albert Breer's thing about, hey, he want $50 million. He want $50 million.
Maybe not true.
I mean, maybe he does, though. Got played with a broken leg, did what he did.
Exactly.
If he can get it, go ahead and get it. Let's head over to the free agency fun zone. Now, I believe Dan Orlovsky and Schrags both have some thoughts on Alec Pierce, who was the belle of the ball in the wide receiver market, staying in Indianapolis. Boys, what's going on?
Pat, first one out of the gates is obviously Alec Pierce. We're keeping an eye on Mike Evans. We're keeping an eye on a couple others here. But Dan wanted to break down a little bit of film, and I think we got to show how he actually is the deep threat guy that everyone was coveting.
Well, let's cook here, Foxy, okay? Let's cook here. So in 2024, I think he was 22.3 yards per catch. Last year, 21.3. But I want to point out, so this is Pierce, okay? So everyone paid attention to a one-on-one situation where when you're talking about like big plays down the field by Alec Pierce, okay? Sometimes it's versus really good corners. Play this, Foxy, because I want you guys, now freeze this. Foxy, so he's got pretty bad leverage. He's running a corner route, meaning he wants to go to this back pylon. Stingley, one of the best corners in football, is outside leverage. So you can let it ride, Foxy. Now he's got to win and get his head back. This is really good awareness by Alec Pierce of understanding like the route. Okay, now you're going to get a post route on the right side, okay? He's going to be on our right side of the screen, post route. Now freeze it, Foxy. This is the big deal to me. As you go down the field as a receiver, you could play it. You don't want to freeze it. Okay, you don't want to create contact yourself here. He does a nice job. Instead of just running into the corner and creating contact, he avoids that corner, and that corner doesn't have the opportunity to get hands on him. Then you allow the big speed play at Foxy to be the factor down the field. That's where that 21-plus yards per catch come into play. And so I think he's done a nice job with his route running or understanding like, yes, I'm big and physical. I can catch some of these one-on-one throws that we see down the field, but also not just getting into contact with defensive backs just because. So while he is a big play receiver, like this is awesome. He's a big play receiver. There's no doubt about it. But the fact that he can be a big play receiver and fight through some of that contact, but also avoid it down the field, I think took him from hey, he's a big, tall, athletic guy that can make plays down the field with his speed, to a way more nuanced, complete wide receiver. It's a big signing for Indy to keep him. I loved him in New York, and I loved him in New England.
I would add this. You know, you look at Alec Pierce, you think of him more, he looks like he's like a lacrosse player, whatever it is. This guy is a dangerous deep threat. The defensive coordinators had to worry about. The list of wide receivers now, as I'm going through my big board here, that are available at free agency to keep an eye on. Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Jennings, Wan'Dale Robinson, Mike Evans, Romeo Doubs, Devo Samuel. It is a loaded class, and teams are looking to spend. Keep it right here, Pat.
Dubs in the chat. Love everything about it. We appreciate you, Schrags and Dano, over there in the free agency fund zone. Now, Alec Pierce, obviously. Schrags just rattled off a bunch of names that are potentially coming. Let's head into, the news, actually, and see how he's doing. Shefty, Alec Pierce gets signed early. What else should we be looking for out of your Twitter account?
Well, I think right now we're waiting on a number of deals. The wide receivers will come into focus. You heard Peter mention Mike Evans. We expect clarity there in this show. Rashid Shaheed, wouldn't be a surprise there. Juwan Jennings is out there. Looks like the Niners will be losing Juwan Jennings at this point in time. Wan'Dale Robinson out there has interest from a few teams. A lot of people have pointed to Tennessee as a natural fit with Brian Daboll as the offensive coordinator in Tennessee, wanting to get back his former wide receiver. We'll see whether they can get a deal done at some point in time. And I do think the Rams are going to be busy here this afternoon as well.
Okay, Shefty, on one final note, you broke Max Crosby on Friday. Congratulations. Shefty. Okay, let's talk about that Max Crosby trade, shall we? Because we haven't really gotten a chance to take a bite out of the apple. Baltimore Ravens take a huge swing and bring in the Energizer Bunny, a guy who's considered a GOAT, considered a great. We've never got a chance to see him in primetime games. He's obviously been the heart of a Raider and the pillar of the Raiders organization since he got there. Now, going over to the Baltimore Ravens feels like a perfect fit. Honestly, feels like a perfect fit. This morning, Dan Orlovsky said, all right, there ain't no more excuses, Dahn, anymore. Mm-hmm. And Lamar Jackson responded with, there's never excuses, Dan. What do we even talk about? With a cig, with looking. So I don't know what all the emojis mean. I don't know if Lamar wants to smoke with Dan Orlovsky or if he's saying that Dan Orlovsky's smoking, which I tried to get him to this morning, I must say. He did not. So we don't know what this is saying, but what we do know, Max Crosby going to the Ravens is a huge move by them. And Minter now has Derwin James, Kyle Hamilton, and he also has Khalil Mack, now Max Crosby, amongst other things. Feels like they're loading up for a defense that's about to be back to greatness again next year.
Yeah, they got great players on every level of that defense. Underachieved last year. They were pretty bad last year, near the bottom of the league when it comes to pass rush and sacks. And when you think about the Baltimore Ravens in that defense, that's kind of the first thing you think about. Violent and then getting after the quarterback. So I know you have a guy who's an absolute game changer. Whenever you're trading 2 first-round picks, you want to change that for a guy who changes the math. So when you bring in a guy like Sauce, like we did, that guy got to be able to shut down one side of the field. If it's a pass rusher, you have to change pass protections and impact the game, even when you're not getting sacks. And you got to be able to affect the run game as well. So they're talented on all levels. We know the mind that Jesse Minter is when it comes to calling defense and setting them up. I think this is a good move. You swing for the fences when you have a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. And, yeah, when you win a couple MVPs, definitely no excuse for the quarterback, and he knows that as well.
Got a couple of these guys who are going to go down as greats, that don't have Super Bowls. Yep. Josh Allen, the heat's on. Yep. Lamar, the heat's on. Joey B, the heat's on. This is just the life as an NFL quarterback. There was a little bit of odd shift whenever Max Crosby goes to Baltimore. We've seen quarterbacks go to new teams, and the Super Bowl odds not change at all. Max Crosby, the Condor, the guy that takes no plays off and is relentlessly annoying everybody on the field at all times. Change the math for the Super Bowl odds, Tone.
Yeah, before the trade happened, the Buffalo Bills were the favorites to win the AFC. After the trade happened, the Ravens are now tied with the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC. They are behind the Rams and the Seahawks as far as overall Super Bowl odds go. But right after the Seahawks, right after the Rams, it then goes the Bills and the Ravens, who are now tied to win the AFC. They're 3rd and 4th, respectively, to win the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl odds change on that side. For the Raiders, they had $83 million in cap space on Friday at noon. Now, $110 million. Okay, after the moves that they make. So that's obviously great for them. We like seeing or thinking of Max Crosby playing in football that matters, Ty.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that for years on end now, and it kind of got to the point where we say that every single offseason or around the trade deadline, and it just never happened for whatever reason. But it's awesome that they finally pulled the trigger. And just, speaking from personal experience, you look back to last year, if you're a fan, Micah Parsons comes in and you feel that effect immediately. You feel it immediately. He makes everybody else better too. So if you're a Ravens fan, you're in seventh heaven this morning.
Let's go to free agency fun zone. Schrags, who all was in for Max Crosby? I heard a lot of names. Cowboys. I heard maybe Patriots. Bears maybe. Instead, it ends up being the Ravens. Did we know this, Schrags?
No, several teams were involved with this one, and the Ravens early on Friday did offer those 2 first-round picks. What's interesting is no one else were to be able to match that. So the Raiders were dangling it a little bit, and the Ravens become the destination. And I will add this. Jesse Minter comes from the Los Angeles Chargers, played against Max Crosby 4 different times. In all 4 of those games, Max Crosby wrecked shop. The offensive coordinator in Baltimore is now Declan Doyle, 29 years old, a whiz kid offensive coordinator. Everyone thinks of him as a Bears coach, but no, he was with the Denver Broncos, where, oh, by the way, every time that they faced them, he was absolutely dominating them against the Broncos as well. So Max Crosby, that is your guy, and he goes to Baltimore where they are thrilled, and you better believe he'll be the last one out of the tunnel doing the Ray Lewis dance when they introduce them at M&T Bank Field.
Dan Orlovsky, you talk about Joe Burrow having to send a message to Jamar Chase saying, hey, just a heads up, they got another one. Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, and now Max Crosby. The AFC North is hot in the kitchen, Dano.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of
why'd you say to Lamar Jackson that there's been excuses before? Sounds like you don't think Lamar's right. What is Lamar saying to you in that tweet, you think? Do you think he knows you look this cool? What do you think he is saying to you in there?
I don't know what he's saying to me. I can confirm that you tried to get me to smoke this morning, but I chose not to. I think it's just like a figure of, like, he said it himself. It's just like a figure of speech in a way of like, hey, there's always pressure on Lamar. There's always pressure on Joe. There's always pressure on Josh Allen. Like, there's always going to be, but when the organization moves off from a great head coach, brings in another offensive system, and then takes future picks and says, all right, we want this guy, Max Crosby, who's been one of the best defensive players in football, it's just another sign of, like, they're not sitting here saying, hey, we're going to ease our way into it. It's like, hey, Lamar, you're still in your prime. Let's go get this done finally. And so maybe it's the one missing piece. That's all. It's like, hey, we're running out of things to reason why it hasn't happened. Josh Allen's in the same boat. There's no doubt about it. They fired Sean McDermott and hired the offensive coordinator, Joe Brady. So I think both of those guys are even more elevated than what they've been in the past. Josh and Lamar have been in the same boat. The most under-pressure quarterback in the NFL for the last 3 seasons or so. This is a huge move, just like Buffalo getting DJ Moore. So, yeah, I would say this. We all grew up in the era playing against Baltimore where it was like you walked into Terrell Suggs, and it was like, oh, gosh, dude, we got to play against Suggs. This is like their generation of Terrell Suggs, where he just sounds and plays like a Raven. You know, Max embodies a lot of what that organization's about. So I said this morning and said, Buffalo, what's your move? Like, you can't sit pat. Kansas City, what's your move? Cincinnati, what's your move? You can't just sit back and watch.
Colts, what's your move? Boom, we signed Alec Pierce, Dano.
Yeah. I think these teams, like Baltimore's not sitting around and waiting for everybody. I love the fact that they did it.
I'll add this. Pat, you were talking about the Cowboys. They were definitely involved, and then 2 first-rounders. They weren't giving up 2 first-rounders.
Well, it would have been silly because they got 2 first-rounders for Micah. So why not just keep Micah?
Well, I mean, you decide what's silly, and then we'll see who the eye of the beholder is. That's the free agency fun zone over there. We appreciate them doing that. Another fun move, Tua Tagovailoa, gone. Okay, we're talking about $99 million now of dead cap that's about to hit. 67 of it next year. So it's $67 million dead cap is obviously the biggest that a team has ever accrued for one particular season for one player. Remember the Russell Wilson situation? It was like $40 million or something like that. $50 million. Never been done before. Now, salary cap's up over $301 million. These teams are living a dream. We got more money than we ever thought we could have. It bumped up $20 million, not supposed to bump up that much. So they've projected what their contracts could be and can be. They end up with a little bit more money. And down there in Miami, in the post-Chris Greer era and the new Green Bay Packers run down there, they say we can take $6-7 million hit this year, right? 6-7, that'd be the biggest in the history of the game. That'd be a lot of money, bro. 301 salary. Yeah, start doing the math. That's a large percentage of money that we're not able to have. Sean Payton just did it in Denver. You're right. Get Oos out of here.
Let's do it.
Cut him. $99 million cap hit. $32 million next year. They'll take in dead cap hit for Tua Tagovailoa as they continue to move on. D-Butt, South Florida, Broward County Hall of Famer. Your thoughts on the Tua era down there in Miami and what comes next for the Dolphins?
I mean, obviously, you hate how it ended. Miami, the Dolphins in particular, have been looking for that guy since Dan Marino, honestly. It's been a revolving door at the quarterback position. It's been over, damn near 25 years since they've gotten a playoff victory. And then you thought once he got paid and then he had the kind of MVP run, you thought it was going up, but it didn't. It kind of went all downhill. And now with Halfley over there and Sully, a lot of the signs kind of point to Malik Willis being their next guy potentially, or maybe they just go for their next quarterback in the draft. Kind of alarming. They couldn't get anything for him. Nobody was calling to trade and get number one in that building. But we shall see, man. I hated how it ended, but just like the post said, thanks for the memories down in Miami, Tua.
Yeah, shout out to Tua, and also shout out to a man who might have a little bit more information on this. Let's head into the free agency frenzy zone with Adam Schefter. Schefter, how'd they come to this decision? $99 million in dead cap?
Well, let's give you an idea of what's going on in Miami right now with Tua and the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins, obviously, they'll be dipping their toes into the Malik Willis market. I think that they are going to be a team that is interested in Malik Willis. It's a question of whether or not they can work out a deal with him, but I think the Dolphins would be square in play. Jeff Halfley, the head coach, John Eric Sullivan, the GM, got a first-hand, up-close look at Tua, or at
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis in practice last year in Green Bay. As for Tua Tagovailoa, he is definitely going to be interested in joining the Atlanta Falcons. They're interested in him, and you could just see it right now. Two left-handed quarterbacks in the ATL. Michael Penix, Tua Tagovailoa. You don't have to adjust the offense very much. They need help with Penix coming off that knee injury. Tua could be that guy. So Tua is set loose today. And again, I think he's supposed to talk to the Falcons this afternoon. We'll see if they can get a deal worked out where he goes in there. It shouldn't be an expensive deal. The Dolphins are already paying him guaranteed money. So again, Tua could be in line in Atlanta, and I think that the Dolphins will be in on Malik Willis.
And I think I'm getting a text message right now that I can't talk about this anymore. Heading to the Falcons. We appreciate you, Schefter. That's very fascinating, because the small deal for the veteran quarterback who's getting paid elsewhere. Once again, Russell Wilson kind of mastered that with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers were able to get Russell Wilson for $1.2 million or whatever the case is. Kyler Murray also in discussions to be in that particular convo. Tua available. Kyler available. Kirk allegedly going to be available. D-Bud, it sounds like we're getting another wave of those second-generation quarterbacks maybe getting another crack at the apple.
Yeah, Geno Smith as well. I mean, look, these guys, they're talented. You've seen them play at a high level in the league at some period in time, so they're talented. They can get it done. But we've seen it in quarterbacks of the past. Sometimes you just got to be in the right system, got to be the right coach. You got to have the right players around you as well. You have the talent there. If the money can make sense for the team, why not bring them in and give them a shot? And we'll see, where these guys end up.
Well, and you mentioned, that massive cap hit that the Broncos took on. They decided to go with a rookie quarterback. For the Dolphins, it is, if it's not Malik Willis, this is probably the time to have a cheap, veteran quarterback available. There's 5 of them we've listed off, Tua being one of them, so 4 really for the Dolphins to kind of choose from. So having that massive cap hit definitely sucks, but at least now you have a couple options to replace him.
Yeah, I love the thought of Tua going and having success and going back and hanging 70 on people. I love the thought of. I like the thought of Kyler going to a Kevin O'Connell offense and throwing for 500 a game, 300 a game. But we also have to remember some of these guys might just suck at football.
True.
Yeah. I don't want to say that today because today is about dreams coming true. Oh! Shefty Tweed! Somebody got a bag. Who is it?
Kenneth Walker going to the Kansas City Chiefs. He obviously was going to be moving on. The Chiefs have had a need in the backfield. Questions about whether they'd be getting Jeremiah Love at the number 9 slot. So Kenneth Walker will be going to the Kansas City Chiefs, solidifying their backfield.
Okay, I love that, Schefter. Way to go. Hey, thank you, Schefter.
Put one on the board.
Now he's back at it, by the way. Now he's back at it. Okay, so Kenneth Walker signs with the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's go to the free agency fun zone. Schrags, how come the Chiefs are in on everybody? That's cool. Super Bowl MVP is heading to the Chiefs. It feels like this is a repeat story.
Well, we also saw that Travis Kelce is likely coming back, which is great news as well. That's the rumors here. But Kenneth Walker, he had a market. This is a guy who had a market with various teams, but they focused in on the Kansas City Chiefs. His agent, David Cantor, got him right before the playoff run. Think about that. He fired his agent right before the playoff run, signs with a new agent, goes on and has that incredible tear, goes and wins Super Bowl MVP, and he had his choices. The numbers will be coming in shortly. They will be very strong. Strong enough where it was worth leaving the Seattle Seahawks to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Big addition from Brett Veach, who, if you remember, went and did a big signing with Sammy Watkins a few years back, which really got things going for the Chiefs and that dynasty.
Shregs, I love that. Dano, tell me a little bit about what this could do for Patrick Mahomes. Nobody's really talking about Patrick Mahomes. I just saw him post some photos. Travis Kelce coming back into the world. Nobody's really talking about the Chiefs being who the Chiefs is. Sportsbooks still have them at the 5th best odds because I think they have respect. But when you talk about general football convo in the AFC, they're not really talking about. Does this change that, you think? Is this an Andy Reid weapon that could change everything for him, Dano?
100%. The slide of the Chiefs offense over the last 2 or 3 years is directly correlated to them not being able to run the football really at all. Last year, they were the only team in the NFL to not have a back average more than 4 yards per carry. And they had a back have 1 carry for more than 20 yards. So this was a throw it at all cost football team. Now you're looking at a Kansas City offense that Eric Bieniemy's back. They want to get more 50-50 balanced, 60-40 balanced. We'll see what Patrick's health is coming off of the ACL. Maybe they'll have to be a little bit more reliant on running the football early on. And so this is kind of the trend in the wave of the NFL of exactly kind of, how offense has to get played. You got to be able to run the football. Kansas City has not been able to the last 2 years. So this is a really important signing. Also means they don't think Jeremiah Love, back from Notre Dame, is going to get to the number 9 pick.
Well, Jeremiah ran a 4.3, and then he did all the workouts and the drills, and he is outrageous, obviously. You need a good run game. Tone, what are the Chiefs looking like from the sportsbooks perspective?
So, we just mentioned the Ravens, who are now tied with the Buffalo Bills for the best odds to win the AFC. Right behind them are the Kansas City Chiefs. So, while, yes, the Chiefs are being quiet right now because they had one of their worst seasons that they've had in over a decade, as far as like us and media and people talking about them, the sportsbooks still believe that the Chiefs are one of the 3 best teams in the AFC. They're tied for 5th as far as odds are concerned to win the Super Bowl.
We met Schneider. He can't throw a football for shit, but the guy can build a football team.
Yes.
Him moving on from Kenneth Walker, we were all like, that sucks. Super Bowl MVP. He just came on late because Charbonnet got injured. They're assuming that Charbonnet is going to be able to be back into what he was. But we watched Kenneth Walker at Michigan State. Feels like every time Kenneth Walker gets the ball, he's doing something with it, like legitimately. Since I've known of his existence, every time I've seen him have a football, he's been doing something with it. So for him to win a Super Bowl MVP and then be up, good for him. But Schneider had to make a tough decision, kind of letting him go, and Andy Reid and Veach were just waiting for it, I guess.
Well, and just talk about a culture guy. Like, you're getting somebody who goes in and knows what it takes to win a Super Bowl. And when you talk about just his numbers in general because of the Charbonnet thing, there's a good 6-week run where a running joke on the internet was how Kenneth Walker would get every single yard down to the goal line, and then Charbonnet would basically take it home. So for the Chiefs to get him, that's massive. And now, we mentioned Jeremiah Love. They have the 9th pick. They can get one of the top O-linemen. The O-line has been a big question for them over the past few years, especially after trading Joe Thuney to the Bears. So them being able to then focus on that during the draft is even bigger for that team.
The draft should be bananas. We cannot wait to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for all of that. It's going to be special time, special night. And a lot of these teams are at the top, have a lot of money, So what does the draft look like after this free agency spending period? To be honest, it's been kind of quiet. I don't know if you guys saw, Pelissero reported that in the last league meetings, there was a vote the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe, put together where they could have an hour where they could talk to some of these free agents that they were looking to sign. In the past, it was just the agents. And you didn't even talk to the player before giving them $100 million, $200 million. Now there's something going on where you get an hour to talk to 5 different free agent prospects. So I wondered if that was going to slow down the free agency frenzy at noon because guys that were supposed to get massive bags, let's go ahead and do a double check and then roll it into hour 2, maybe even hour 3, which we will certainly be here for. Tom Pelissero, subtle but significant change when the NFL's free agent negotiating window opens on Monday. For the first time, clubs may conduct 1 video or phone call, maximum 1 hour without 5 free agents. So these guys that they used to just give money to without even knowing, just being told by their agents and other thing, now they're getting a chance to chat with them. This feels smart.
Yes.
Yeah. This feels like a smart move. That's why the Alec Pierce deal is so easy to make happen. The Kenneth Walker deal, I assume, is easy because that was given earlier than that combine. You get a chance to chat and kind of learn about it. It's a great. Last year's free agency frenzy, this is before they were even allowed to talk to guys, okay? Not even allowed to have a hello with these guys. $2.84 billion in contracts was given. Yeah. That's Monday through Wednesday, last year's free agency frenzy. D-line won today, which is kind of an indicator of what the league is. You need 4 ones up front, so the D-line going to get paid $862 million last year. Secondary, $804 million.
Hey,
Hey, DB.
All right.
Need them.
I like
another
that.
corner's got a bag.
Who's that?
Trent McDuffie.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, he did.
He just
reset
became the
market.
highest, I heard, $31 million. Trent McDuffie gets traded, and then he becomes the highest paid corner in history at $31 million a year. There was also a corner down in Jacksonville that just got paid earlier today.
Buster Brown.
Buster
Yeah.
Brown
Buster
got
Brown.
paid.
Monteric Brown.
It does feel like D-line, DBs, if you can buy them and get them, you certainly try to do that. It has become a trend of the free agency frenzy.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at the Rams, they kind of went DB by committee. They play a bunch of zone coverage, only rush with 4, so you needed but that kind of exposed them. Late in the end, Sam Darnold took advantage of it in that NFC Championship game, just kind of finding holes. So now you have a guy, Trent McDuffie, who can kind of probably get you over that hump. He can play man. He can match up with number 1 receivers, whether they're on the outside or on the inside. He's a tough guy. You talk about Kenneth Walker having that culture and know what it wins takes to win the championship. Trent won too, and now he's going over to the Rams and hopefully get them to the promised land again.
Let's talk about another corner. Stokes just renegotiated a new deal with the Raiders. He's getting $30 million as well. Not a year, but he's getting a $30 million, 3-year, $30 million deal with $20 million guaranteed, says Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, which is also
Wait a minute.
ESPN, I think.
Yeah, uniting houses.
Oh, yeah, coming together. Did you even see Shefty quote tweeted?
Yeah,
I did.
interesting. And
Wow.
just a outright retweet,
Yeah,
nonetheless.
they put their swords aside
Yeah, they did.
and said, hey, we can maybe go ahead and do this thing. So another corner gets paid. I think there's a lot of names potentially that we're not going to know that are going to get paid, which leads me to go back to the free agency fund zone. Schrags, a lot of money to go. Not a lot of names that we're going to find out. A lot of wealthy, unknown folks seemingly going to be a storyline of this free agency frenzy.
Yeah, look, this is it. The salary cap went, Pat, from 280 to 301 million, and there are not dazzling names all over at every position group, but teams have to spend the money. So there will be guys who you look at and you say, what? I think Alec Pierce raised eyebrows. I think when Kenneth Walker's number comes in, it'll raise eyebrows. There are several that are going to go today, and you're going to be surprised by how much money they're making. Throw that out the window. Realize that teams have to spend the money, and they want to do so to fill out their team and hit that salary cap number. A lot of names are being in my phone right now. I know Adam's on it as well. I would expect Mike Evans in the next hour or so to announce where he is going, whether he goes back to Tampa or explores a new option for the final chapter of his career.
Shefty has hit the internet. He is saying Cade Otton is returning to Tampa Bay per source. Shefty, what's the deal with Cade Otton in Tampa Bay? As we hear, Mike Evans probably hitting market.
One of a number of good tight ends in the free agent market. We've got a number of them out there. Chigakonkwo's out there. Isaiah Likely is out there. And Cade Otton didn't waste any time. He's going back to Tampa. And you heard Peter reference Mike Evans. It's a situation where if they lose him, you want to retain some continuity on offense. So important that they get back Cade Otton, and they now are doing that as we speak, finalizing that deal.
Okay, so right now you're staring at your phone waiting for the numbers to come through. Like, so you'll get a text that says, yup, Cade's going back to Tampa, and then another text comes from another person who tells you what it's worth. Shefty, is that what we're watching right now?
We're waiting for a number of moves, Pat. I think all these teams are checking in. And by the way, there were people that thought certain players were going certain places, and agents are doing what they do. They're trying to extract better terms before they can get a deal done. So this is going to be interesting to see how this all plays out here in the coming hours here.
Shefty, quick question for
Yes,
you.
sir.
That hour-long interview that teams are allowed to have with free agents now, that's a new rule. Has that been affecting any of this, and are any of the teams doing that right now?
I don't think it matters. I think these teams know what they're trying to do, and they have an idea of which players they want to get signed.
God, you look so cool over there, Shefty.
You know what it looks
unreal.
like, Pat? You know what it looks like? It looks like Nightline. I feel like I'm doing Nightline from the Thunderdome.
Well, hey,
Basically,
kind of
yeah,
hard
pretty
at the same
close.
time, but this thing can roll into the night if you are. You're in where all the chaos is, so we try to depict that, and we think
It's awesome.
It really paints a perfect picture for what's going on in your brain over there.
Yep.
There's a little bit of lightning, a little bit of thunder, certainly some news, and a lot to do. Okay, get me off TV, please. Thank you. Got conversations to be had. Cade Otton remains with Tampa Bay. Mike Evans potentially on the move. You know, renegotiations, that has to be Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce, they thought he was heading maybe some other place.
Yep.
So now New England's able to probably open up that money if they were the landing spot. Where does that go? That's kind of the frenziness of the free agency frenzy, con man.
Well, let alone just the numbers itself. Like, I wonder how many many people thought Alec Pierce might have been getting, 25, 26 million. All of a sudden his deal comes in at 29. Does that, affect Mike Evans, some of those other guys? Rashid Shaheed, him in Seattle, they said tried to get a deal done before free agency, couldn't get it done. You wonder if they now kind of bump their numbers up by $1 million or $2 million just because of the fact that Alec Pierce got paid, and I'm sure Cade Otton will do the same for some of those other tight ends.
A couple deals that happened over the weekend that we have to hit. Khalil Mack reached a 1-year agreement for $18 million, fully guaranteed to go back to the Chargers. That's a good win for Khalil and for the Chargers, it feels like.
Yeah, it's obviously a good football player on the field, but what he brings to that building, the weight room, we got a tour around it. Absolutely.
Silverback.
It's a great re-signing, I think, for the Chargers.
Yeah, we set the stage for free agency with a lot of deals that happened. I know you guys heard this. Eddie Pinheiro and the 49ers. They reworked the deal. Good for him. Appreciative of him. Packers and tackle Sean Ryan reached a 3-year, $33 million deal, up to $39 million, $11 million signing bonus. Got to love that the Packers are spending money on the big boys.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to slide him over to center, I believe, which is where he started like the last 9 games of the year and was really good. So they're probably going to get rid of Elton Jenkins, and he'll be their starting center.
Okay, so we have some updates on the Kenneth Walker signing. Ari Mirov has accrued some information. He says it's 3 years worth up to $45 million, about $15 million a year. Let's assume it's $12 to $13 million each year. That feels like a very good price for Kenneth Walker. And once again, anytime anybody signs with the Chiefs, they know the Super Bowl is an opportunity, so they're always going to utilize that as negotiation in the backdrop.
Absolutely. This was the move. Dano mentioned it earlier when we were talking about the Crosby trade. Okay, Chiefs, what's your move? Bills, what's your move? So this was a big move. I think it's a big swing. We talked about Patrick Mahomes. He was the leading rusher for the Chiefs way too many times. And then him with coming off an injury, you definitely want to protect him more. And I think Kenneth Walker, I know he was splitting carries and splitting touches with Charbonnet, but that'll bode well, I believe, for his future, keeping those legs kind of fresh. Got him in a new deal, which he absolutely earned. Not only does he help that run game, but he's an absolute monster in the pass game and that screen game as well. Andy Reid has always been a beast when it comes to dialing up perfect screens, so I think this is a perfect signing.
A new deal has been done. Chiefs cornerback, former corner Jalen Watson has reached an agreement today on a 3-year deal with the Los Angeles Rams. Shout out to Colin Roberts of Excel. The Rams now will have 2 former Chiefs corners, Watson and McDuffie. McDuffie just became the highest paid corner in the game with $31 million after being traded to the Los Angeles Rams. Now we got Jalen Watson over there. Let's head back to Shefty. Shefty, what are the Rams doing? Cooking, I would say.
Yeah, they're cooking, and obviously they're taking the Chiefs cornerbacks right now, and it's a situation where he is going to play one corner. Trent McDuffie is going to be the other corner, and the Rams have loaded up in the secondary. They are importing their cornerbacks from Kansas City. More coming up right now, Pat. Hold on.
I love that, Shefty. Keep working. Keep pounding the buttons on your phone there. Let's head right over to the free agency fun zone. Shregs, we know you're tight with the Rams. They're Super Bowl favorites, and they're in the middle of cooking right now. What do you know?
Corner was their biggest priority. They get Trent McDuffie. They get Jalen Watson. Great signings for them. But I'm also going to go back to the Kenneth Walker because I think the 15 or the 45 over 3 years might be a little misleading. The key to the Kenneth Walker deal, $28.7 million, fully guaranteed on a 3-year deal. So that's where the money really is. It's the guaranteed money. That's what the agents worked on. They said, okay, the overall is fine, whatever, but the guaranteed money for Kenneth Walker. He had options. As for Jalen Watson, Shefty and I were talking before the show, Rams have been in the free agent market as far as corner goes. Jalen Watson, Trent McDuffie, you basically take that Kansas City duo, you put them in a forklift, and you put them right there in Los Angeles. You plop them in there. They're set. It also means they can go a different direction with that 13th overall pick they have from Atlanta.
Yeah, so in relation with Kenneth Walker to Kansas City, I'll just reiterate what D-Butt touched on is like Baltimore kind of set the table this offseason saying, nope, we're still in the fight. Kansas City's matched it. Buffalo's a little bit. I still think Buffalo needs to go do a defensive move. And now the Rams on the NFC side have said, no, we believe, because there was conversation with the Rams of, okay, are they going to take a quarterback in round 1 and start the springboard after Matthew Stafford and kind of not try to have a drop back? And I think the Rams watched how last season played out and said, we thought we were the best team in the NFL, and we still think that this is a very real Super Bowl window. They trade for McDuffie. They signed Watson. If I were, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams try to get Mike Evans from Tampa Bay. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams try to sign Trey Hendrickson as a pass rusher. And
Mike Evans to the Rams?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would not be surprised if the Rams are in to try to sign Mike Evans and sign Trey Hendrickson.
All right, that's a free agency fun zone over there. Jay's breaking a lot of hearts in a lot of different cities.
That would be.
Mike Evans with Matthew Stafford and Puka. Is Tay still there?
Yeah.
I think we got him muted. Do we have Dano muted right now? I don't know. He just started yelling. Dan, is Tay still over there?
Devontae is still there. And so I think that they look at their offense, and you saw what Devontae came over and did for them in the red zone, win a one-on-one. Could you imagine this Rams offense if you give them Devontae Adams, Puka, and Mike one-on-one? You won't be able to stop him.
Wait, I heard Shefty yelling, let's go, let's go, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commanders and Laramie Tunzel have agreed on a new 2-year, $60.2 million deal. Let's head right to Shefty, who's crawling out of his skin to talk about it.
Okay, we got a bigger one than that, Pat, that just came in. Jalen Phillips, 4-year, $120 million deal with the Carolina Panthers. That just gets done. That just gets done. 4 years, $120 million on Jalen Phillips. So one of the best pass rushers in the market. This is going to have some implications here because there are a lot of people in the pass rush market. By the way, the Wi-Fi in this room, Pat, is not working very well.
No!
I got to tell you something. I'm trying to get things out here. It's not working.
No way. It's 1,000 up, 1,000 down, Shefty. It might be your stuff, not ours.
Wow.
But on that note, 4-year, $120 million, $80 million in guaranteed. The Carolina Panthers say, how you doing? Keep it moving. I love Demo making the play. I love Tepper making the play. I like Canales doing his thing. They were close last year, started seeing success. They started filling up the stadium, and now they double down, and let's keep this thing going. Jalen Phillips is an absolute monster heading to Carolina.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like Shefty said, I think everyone just assumed, like, oh, he's going to be going back to Philly no matter what. But this is the kind of move, we talked about it all last year with Carolina has to go football team. These are the type of moves that you can envision them going from a good football team to a great football team. So what a splash from the start here.
Yeah, D-Butt, how do you feel about the Jalen Phillips signing for the Carolina Panthers down there in Charlotte? We're starting to take football real serious all of a sudden.
Yeah, first-round pick when he came over to the Eagles.
Seriously, we're starting to take football real serious.
They're going in.
Yeah, he was dominant, and this is a premium position. You have one of the best cornerbacks in the league on that defense with J.C. Horn, and now you get a dynamic pass rusher and also a guy who's good against the run. So this is a huge, huge signing for the Panthers.
Hey, Carolina Panthers.
Wow.
That's a good football team. That's a good football team. Cheers to them getting that job done. That's going to be a boost to that entire building. Let's head over to the free agency fun zone. What are your thoughts on this move, Shregs? The Carolina Panthers are real, and Dano, that NFC South all of a sudden might be running through the Queen City, Dahn.
I got to tell you, humbly, I'm surprised. I thought he was going back to Philly, guys. I really did. I thought that was the plan, to keep their own guys. I didn't see the Carolina offer coming in. That's the beauty of the free agent frenzy. We do this for a living. We're on our phones all day long. Carolina is truly a surprise to me, and hats off to them for keeping it close to the vest. A major swing. Giro Evero, their defensive coordinator, one of the most respected guys in the league, also known for his defensive backfield stuff, but they are putting together a nice little front four.
What? Sorry.
What do we got?
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry.
What?
Sorry. Breaking news.
What? Oh, no.
Culture trade Michael Pittman.
Here we go.
Let's go. Steelers.
Here we go.
Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. Here we go. They got Pittman. It's in his name.
Here we go.
He'll die while playing the game.
Here we go.
The Colts lost him now. I'm a little bummed out, but it'll be nice to see what's it about.
Here we go.
Pittman.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Is headed to Pittsburgh.
Wow.
You guys are going to love him. I put out a tweet that said something along the lines of, hate the fact that we're going to be losing Michael Pittman because he has a $29 million cap hit, especially after what we had to do for Pierce and for Daniel Jones. And we assume Jonathan Taylor's going to want a new deal as well before he puts his hoodie on and stands during training camp and tears everything down. Now, Pittman, I would like to say a huge thank you to you. You were a pro through and through for this Indianapolis Colts team. There was a lot of rumors coming out about the way the culture was behind the scenes. People late to things, people doing this, people making business decisions. Not this guy. This guy would dive head first into a freight train if he had to make a catch or a first down for a team. We are very grateful for what he did for the Colts, and heading to Pittsburgh seems like it's on the up and up. Mike McCarthy's going to love this guy, and so are the Yinzers. He's a farmer. He doesn't talk much. couch, and he balls. Alec Pierce obviously came into a role whenever Daniel Jones started playing quarterback that he was clearly the number one. This guy was our number one for the last few years. He's a weapon. Obviously, $29 million was a big piece of it for the Indianapolis Colts, and the Steelers pick up an absolute dog. No doubt about it.
Yeah, Steelers had plenty of cap space, so we're all good there. This is awesome. You look at Pittman, he's got a C on the jersey. He's a leader. You talked about how the locker room, Colts locker room, that he was a leader in that locker room. And the big thing for the Steelers the last few years has been an issue with playmakers, okay? That's why they traded for DK Metcalf last year. He was great in that situation, but there was still no number two on that team. Right now, what? He was fine. Watch your mouth.
I'm sorry.
Watch it.
Whoa. Like
Not today. Hey, not today. Okay.
I like where you're at.
So now they have DK, and then right now on the roster, besides DK, it was just DK and Benny Skronik, who was one of the best special teams players in the league. But as far as wide receiver goes, we need another one. So now you have him, Pittman. Maybe you don't necessarily have to go get one in the first round now, or you still could. It just frees up some things that there's a legitimate number two now in Pittsburgh. It's going to be huge for Mike McCarthy, Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington.
What?
Uh-oh.
So is there a little heart that was sent back to you on you wishing somebody a happy free agency frenzy and them saying a heart, and you go, wait a minute. Maybe the Steelers are going to do something pretty big here in the first hour of free agency frenzy that Michael Pittman has been traded. I like this new Steelers.
Yes.
This new Steelers will make plays. This new Steelers will make moves. Will this new Steelers win?
Who the hell is their quarterback?
What's everybody yelling about? Free agency fun zone over there has a lot of questions, I guess. Who's the damn quarterback, boys?
Well, I mean, if it's not going to be Aaron, the Steelers should sign Malik Willis, okay? So a couple things with Michael Pittman Jr. I think Kenneth Gainwell led the Steelers in catches last year with 73.
Yeah.
He's a running back. I believe they had the second fewest catches by wide receivers in the NFL last year. So this was a much, much, much needed upgrade at the guy opposite DK Metcalf. My guess is Aaron's going to play for the Steelers, but if he's got any word to them that he's not coming back and is going to retire, they would be the number one option for Malik Willis as quarterback now. So then you take Malik Willis, you pair him with DK, you pair him with Michael Pittman Jr., this offense has got a chance to be a decent unit, but I expect it to be Aaron.
Dano, we watched you put out a list of things that every team needs in the NFL. We obviously just assume you went to ChatGPT, copy-pasted it, put the tweet out, and said, these are my ideas. But you could have done it yourself. QB, wide receiver, running back-led team in catches. This is exactly what Mike McCarthy and Omar Khan thought as well, Dano. So maybe they're using the same research tool that you are.
No, it's just my brain. I did it on the plane ride last night. I had a Delta flight with no TV, so did it on the plane ride. This is what they needed.
You toughed it out.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Did you get any peanuts, any water?
No eating, just water, just a bottle of water.
Biscoff cookie?
This guy doesn't eat. You see these pants? Look how tight these pants are.
Jeez,
Hey, we've been checking out the hamstrings and the thighs, brother. They're kind of all blending into one. You look good out there, dude. I understand you're not eating any time, but let's get back to the Delta flight that you took last night. Thank you so much for doing that. Jeez, I know you had to do the entirety of it, but you go through every single team's list.
Hold on.
Dan, thank you so much.
Superhero.
Thank you.
This is also,
did you push the plane down the runway to get that thing up into the sky? We appreciate you doing that, Dan.
This is also you who I texted last week saying, hey, how far is the airport from the Thunderdome? And you said, my airport or yours?
Okay, let's move on. That is a great question.
Yeah.
Two very different.
Yeah.
Two very different.
Opposite sides of the state.
Yeah, because one's real close, brother. One's pretty far. But you put in that list. That was one of my best texts of all time, I will say. Properly timed and delivered. But let's go through it. Wide receiver was something that you thought they needed. It's been a few years they've needed a guy. It feels like Pittman fits their culture very well.
Yeah, big time. He fits their culture. He also fits their size. Like, this is now two big body, big framed wide receivers. I would imagine Pittman's probably listed as a 6'4" guy. Obviously, DK is a big physical dude. So now you've got two big receivers in a conference or a division that has got Baltimore with a very good secondary, Cleveland with a very good secondary. So I like the fact that Pittman Jr.'s traded for, and it stinks that the Colts lose him, but this is a very good signing for Pittsburgh.
I would love to see them add a dynamic kind of space creator, a guy in space. I know they drafted Roman Wilson. Hopefully he'll be healthy going into this year. But if you pair those big bodies on the outside who are going to be matchup problems week in and week out with the guy that can create – oh, shit.
Let's go to South Florida, who found a new trigger man. Malik Willis and the Miami Dolphins have reached an agreement. Let's head to the man that broke the story. Adam Schefter. Malik Willis is now a member of the Dolphins. It's felt too easy with all the Green Bay Packers connections.
Well, we were talking about this, right? They move on from Tua today. They knew all the people there. They've seen Malik Willis. He's seen them need, and the Dolphins wanted him more than any other team. We'll see what the deal looks like. But he wasn't going to the Jets. He wasn't going to the Falcons. He wasn't going to the Browns. The Cardinals had a modicum of interest, and so Malik Willis now reunites with John Eric Sullivan, the new Dolphins GM, and Jeff Hafley, the new Dolphins head coach.
Hell yeah, congratulations to the Dolphins. D-Bud, I think I saw a little bit of excitement out of your body whenever that popped up. Now at least you know you have a quarterback. What is the price tag potentially for this, Shefty? Do we have any expectations?
Dan O told us a while ago what price tag.
40 mil?
Yeah, but they pivoted this morning about it.
All right, as Shefty continues to look up the numbers, let's head over to Dano at the free agency fund zone to tell us what Malik Willis potentially brings to the Miami Dolphins and why this is first quarterback off the board.
Yeah, so Foxy, let's make sure we live in the pass game world. So I think what you got Malik Willis is a talented guy that's developed the understanding of how to play the position. So before we run this, you're going to see this safety. He's going to spin back and he's going to go to play what we call kind of cover two, okay? So when you're attacking cover two, you want a receiver to go down the middle of the field. Now, Malik Willis, you could play it, Foxy, does a great job of getting this ball out of his hands, cutting it loose. And this is really nice. I want to like freeze that. Okay, this is a very small window for a quarterback to be able to throw the football into. Play it, Foxy. Nice work, and that ball is just beautifully placed in between two defenders. That's outstanding, okay, from a quarterback perspective, throwing the football. And then you're going to see the ability to kind of understand protection. He's going to get pressure right there. Okay, I deal with that pressure. Good job by the back. You can play it, Foxy. And this is the ball out on time now. Again, I want you guys to see these throwing windows. Let it freeze, Foxy. That's a tight window in the NFL. That ball is out on time. Really good on that outbreaking route. So you saw his ball down the middle of the field. You saw a ball on the outbreaker. This is outstanding. Look at his eyes, okay? I want everyone to see. I'm going to draw a line, okay? He is looking this way. Now, when he's looking this way, he's going to take this defender that way. What that does is that now frees up this route on the backside, okay? So, Foxy, you can let it go. See, on time now, okay? This is a guy that was physically gifted. He got the chance to sit Tennessee and then Green Bay, and now you're watching him play on time and rhythm. This is going to be a beautiful, we're going to get a nice crossing route here, nice crossing route that's going to get designed by this quarterback and offense. Okay, this one's got to be thrown with a little bit of timing and touch and anticipation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, crossing route, beautiful, in that window, right there. Okay, so I'm showing you guys all these. There's a ball down the seam. There's a ball on the out. There's a ball on an in route. There's a ball on a crosser. These aren't easy throws. Foxy, let it ride. And so then there's athleticism too. Get outside of the pocket, make some plays. And so, yes, it's a small body of work. And is it a dice roll for the Miami Dolphins? Of course it is. But I think when you watch his tape and you see some of the in structure and outer structure, playmaking ability, there's a lot to like. And I'm sure this deal is not just going to choke Miami from a financial perspective. So I think it makes a ton of sense for the Miami Dolphins.
I would add this, Pat. You know, the Hafley and John Eric Sullivan thing cannot be understated. Everyone says, well, we haven't seen enough of Malik Willis. He only threw 35 passes all last year. Hafley is the defensive coordinator of the Packers when Malik Willis is the number 2 quarterback, meaning every day in practice. Scout team, he saw this guy. Incredible person. This is the scouting report we get. Leader, and on the run, strong, powerful, fast. They love this kid in Miami. So this is a picture where it's not just, throw down a dart. This coach sought after this quarterback, and he knows him as well as anybody else on the market.
The other thing I'd say is this. Isn't Bobby Slowick the offensive coordinator? Yep. So Bobby Slowick, who was in Houston, C.J. Stroud's rookie year, had C.J. playing at a really high level. He's got experience with a young quarterback, very similar system to what Matt LaFleur ran in Green Bay. So Malik Willis is going to have the ability to go down there right away and not necessarily have to learn like this brand new system and or style. It's going to be that under center, on rhythm, on time, play action, outside the pocket. I'm not telling everybody that this guy's going to be the next top 5 quarterback, but I do think that he's got the chance to open up some eyes down there immediately.
And you trust that. Oh, we got another bigger one.
Tweet, we have some big news on a tight end that we all like. Likely has reached a 3-year deal with the New York Football Giants. Wow. Harbaugh says, yep, I love him. I like him a lot. I've been in the building with him. Jackson, you're going to love him. Scatterboo, wait until you see what you're about to do. Let's head over to the man who broke the news. Schefter, what's the deal with Likely and how many people wanted him? I heard a lot of teams were looking to get Likely.
Listen, Likely had a big market. Baltimore would have liked him back. Washington, New England. This will affect some of the other teams that had an interest in the tight end. Chigakonkwo, I would imagine, will be next with Cade Otton going to Tampa and with Isaiah Likely now reuniting with John Harbaugh in New York. Obviously, a big deal there.
Okay, we appreciate you, Schefter, as your phone continues to vibrate. Okay, so we've had a lot of magic happen already here in the first hour. I think there is a chance, with some of the places not being necessarily the locked-in destination for some of these free agents, we got teams making moves. We still got 2 more hours here on ESPN. Then we'll hand it over to the lovely Laura Rutledge as NFL will continue to be covering the free agency frenzy all through the afternoon here on ESPN. And then tonight we have some magic with some bats. Do we not, Ty Schmidt?
Yeah, we do. We got World Baseball Classic pool play game, Mexico versus the USA. And the U.S. hasn't beat Mexico since 2006. So this is like a massive game, a good litmus test for our team as well, who's looked a little sluggish in their first 2 games.
Paul Skeens, let's not throw a fastball right down the middle first pitch. Okay? Logan got in a bad spot. His only bad pitch was the first one. It was a strike fastball right down the middle. They took it yard. Skubal, first pitch right down the middle. They took it yard. Skeens, from my understanding, is going to do the same damn thing.
Challenge him, baby.
Because that is what pitchers feel like they have to do. If they got to feel this fastball first.
Have to.
And Great Britain was like, hey, that first pitch is the only one we got.
Yeah.
Okay, this is all we know. Boom. And they actually connect on that. Paul Skeens tonight against Mexico should be electrifying. Shout out to baseball for being spectacular. $704 million in contracts already given on this particular Monday.
Damn.
Free agency frenzy will roll on into hour 2. Scott on the jib is cooking. Schefter is obviously living in his 2 phones. The free agency fun zone with Schrags and Orlovsky is obviously spectacular. And we are honored to continue on the other side of this break, breaking all the news and deals and dreams coming true around the entirety of the NFL. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Take 3. We have an opportunity to give away $75,000 to a kid named Daniel Villasenor.
Absolutely.
You're a sophomore, correct?
Yeah.
What is your major?
Civil engineering.
Okay, so what's that mean? What is civil engineering?
I don't really know.
Have you ever kicked a ball before?
I have.
When? Were you a soccer player?
Soccer player, yeah.
Okay, how were you at kicking soccer balls? Pretty good?
I was okay. I was good.
Have you ever said anything negative about football kickers?
Maybe once or twice.
Daniel! Damn, Daniel! We don't need that. You make a field goal here from 33 yards uphill. You're the civil engineer. You'd have to tell me, I think it's about a 40-yard kick. If you're able to do that, we will give you $75,000.
All right.
He's got no laces.
Yeah, what do we got going here? Can we get a shot of shoes?
What time?
Hey, a shot of the shoes.
Daniel showed up in his Vans with no laces. What time did you get here for this?
About 11:40 last night.
You need a lot of power.
Good luck, Daniel.
I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it.
Oh! Whoa!
Wait a second.
Just like everything this morning, that was a surprise. We did not expect that.
Let's go. We got to do one more shot.
One more kick for $100,000.
You got this, dude.
Let's go. How about this, Daniel? How about this, Daniel? Not only is this one for $100,000, if you make it, we'll add another $100,000 to the $500,000 donation we're about to make from College Game Day to the hurricane relief. It could be $600,000 if you make this, with $100,000 going into your pocket. Daniel, this is bigger than you. Let's make a kick, bro.
Way to overcome the shoes here. That was a heck of an effort. Come on, you got this.
In Berkeley, California.
You got it.
Oh! Proud of you, buddy. Hell yeah.
Great job.
Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. All right.
Just talking.
Are you kidding me?
It's fun, man. 11:40 he was there. I know. 600,000 to hurricane relief. 100,000 to Daniel. What a morning in Berkeley. Way to go, Daniel.
Dudes getting rich, team seeking fits. The glamour and the glitz of the big money pit. Who's signing where? Why they go there? This will help us win. Every team swears. So welcome to the show. From the Thunderdome. Who's the next signing? We all want to know. Free agency, frenzy. Dreaming with your spending. Massive cash sending. Who's falling off and who is ascending?
Welcome back, beautiful people, to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this magical, dream-filled, expensive frenzy. We are so incredibly lucky that you are allowing us to do this for a living. Today is a massive, massive day. Money is being spent all around the NFL. Over $700 million in contracts has already happened in less than 13 hours of this day existing. It's not just me. The Toxic Tables here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the hammer, Dahn. Cowboys AP Tone is here. 9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler is here. We're not the only ones in the Thunderdome. We got a sick jib that can carry us from one place to the next. Like, for instance, the free agency fun zone with Schrags and Orlovsky. Dano, the numbers are coming out. 3 years, $67.5 million with $45 million fully guaranteed for Malik Willis down there in Miami. David Mulageta reported that. Take a victory lap, Dano, on what you said, and how do you feel about that particular announcement?
Yeah, I honestly thought that Malik, just because like the landscape of the quarterback world, free agency wise, that he would get $40 to $50 million. I thought it would be a 2-year, $40 to $45 million deal. You saying 3 for 60 plus $45 million guaranteed is a massive number and a good opportunity for Malik Willis. So it's certainly good to kind of hit on that one, but good job by his agency. I think it's a good opportunity. I really do. I think that Malik Willis is just kind of scratching the surface of what he potentially could be. We've seen so many quarterbacks over the last couple years that were maybe afterthoughts early on in their career kind of blossom into really good players. You can design the quarterback run game for him. You could do that zone read stuff so that elevates your offense, and he's plenty capable as a passer, and so it's a huge contract, and Miami starts anew.
Schrags, we saw Alec Pierce go. We see Malik Willis go. We've seen some big names go that we thought could potentially get signed early. Who are we waiting on still in your world, and what teams do you think are still going to dance a little bit here on this free agency frenzy?
Oh, I think Mike Evans is a name to watch. We'll have that one today, and I think the tight end market's really interesting. You saw Adam broke K-Dot and then broke Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely to the Giants could be an interesting shift for their offense. If you think about it, Matt Nagy gets in there. Harbaugh obviously has experience with him. They like Theo Johnson, the Penn State kid who plays tight end for them. So now you can be looking at a Giants offense, which traditionally has not had multiple tight ends. It opens things up for them. But I would look at that tight end market. Chig Okonkwo, who was with the Tennessee Titans last year, he's going to get a big deal today as well. And you keep eyes on veterans like Dallas Goedert, David Njoku, Charlie Kolar, who played for the Ravens as well. Tight end market, really interesting as the league is going more into that 13 personnel and, of course, using double tight ends when possible.
Yeah, I love what we're doing, and the game is changing, but the money is growing as well. And we're continuing to learn about the money that's been happening. Shout out to the free agency fund zone, the boys over there. We appreciate you guys. We're now getting money on Michael Pittman, who signed a brand new deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tone, what are they paying him to be a wide receiver 2 for them?
Yeah, so he was going to be a free agent after 2026, so they got a new deal done with him. 3 years, $59 million for Michael Pittman, so that locks him up. Him and DK, I believe, have the same amount of time on their contract, so they'll be paired together for the next few years. So you're not trading for a guy who's going to be a free agent again next year. You'll have him for a few years to build with Mike McCarthy. It's a really good situation there.
Couple big names here still floating out there. Trey Hendrickson. The hell is going to happen with him? He finally hits the market for the first time, long time. Did he miss the window of the gigantic deal, and what does his actual deal look like now? That'll be the question. Tyler Linderbaum, the center, obviously in the market, former high school wrestler, Iowa grad. He's a guy that's, I think, is going to get paid. Because if you have an ass offensive line and you can fix it quickly, like what we saw the Chicago Bears were able to do, if you think one piece can change your entire team, and it's at the offensive line position, getting Linderbaum in there, you know you're going to have success. He might command a lot of money, Ty.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's why we've heard some of the names that are out there, but it just makes sense that the Raiders would be very aggressive and potentially give him, upwards of, like you're saying, $30 million or whatever the case may be. But he's going to be a wealthy man, and he's going to be able to buy a lot of farmland in Solon, Iowa, where he's from. So I'm very excited to see where Linderbaum winds up.
Tua Tagovailoa being tracked to Atlanta, says Adam Schefter. Okay, so you can kind of take him off the board. Romeo Doubs, Mike Evans, Malik Willis now, Miami Dolphins quarterback. What's that mean for Kyler Murray? So Tua with Atlanta, Malik with Miami.
Yep.
What does that mean for Kyler? Is Kyler dancing with Kevin O'Connell? Is that what's about to happen over there in Minneapolis, Minnesota? Let's head back to the free agency fun zone. Dano, Kyler Murray with Kevin O'Connell, immediate success, or do you think they're going to have to pay the price of cutting Sam Darnold after winning 14 games for multiple years here? A little curse.
No, I think Kyler's going to be starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Just connecting all the dots, that's what's the one that makes the most sense. All Minnesota needs is average quarterback play. They're a playoff
God bless you,
team.
Shregs. God bless you, Shregs.
It's a frenzy.
All they need is average quarterback play. They're a playoff football team. KOC's a very good coach. This is a very good roster. I think the thing that I'm most interested in, because I do believe this is going to happen, yes, it's going to have an impact on J.J. McCarthy and his future, but that's just he's got to kind of handle that on his own. But this is a situation where, because of Flores and KOC, I think with average quarterback play, they're a divisional round playoff team at a minimum. At a minimum.
You said last year was NFC Championship, but we understand your respect for Kevin O'Connell. They were ass this year. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a staple of another program going to a very different team. Demario Davis of the Saints is now headed to the New York Jets on a 2-year, $22 million deal that includes $15 million fully guaranteed. Davis returns to the Jets. Now, Aaron Glenn and the Jets, I want to say it, haven't had a lot of good.
No.
It's not a lot of ass. A lot of ass. Even at the combine. Just not good. How do you lose it? You get caught sleeping.
That's all.
Check his phone.
Okay, maybe
Sure.
it was. And we have gone to bat saying that is a very easy situation to nod off to. I mean, it's dead air. There's no show in the stadium. You're watching it. It's almost like they're trying to make a lot of deals, a lot of handshaking going on late night to make things happen. So we could see how you snooze. You just got to hope that they don't expose you for it. But classic Jets. They actually expose it, and we actually see
get you.
Anything about Frank Reich as the offense coordinator, it's like, okay, I like Frank. Frank was my
great guy.
Frank was my quarterback coach.
Guy.
Okay, Frank was my quarterback coach. I don't know if Frank's had a lot of success in a while. Not saying that he can't, but you don't immediately go home run hire. There's a lot of things with the Jets where they get in there and Glenn hires all his guys. They have a terrible. They fire everybody but him. So there's a lot of.
They get an interception.
Not one interception for the entire. There's a lot of things that say, wow, this team might be the biggest shite bag in the history of sports. I don't want to do that, though, because there's only 32 NFL teams.
Sure.
No, yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. Why would you do that?
Yeah. I laid out a lot of compelling cases.
They're shite.
They're absolute shite, but we don't want them to be.
No.
And we think this is a good move. Let's head over to the free agency fun zone. Shregs, do we know the Jets are going to be making a play for Davis to bring him back? And should I be thinking anything other than this might be the worst franchise in the history of sports?
Look, they got to start somewhere, and this is a veteran leader. This is
Dan,
a guy.
they suck.
No,
They suck at everything. They can't even watch the combine right.
This is a Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee year in, year out, and a guy who, after Cleveland, went to the Jets and was huge in that players coalition and was big in 2018 with the Jets and 2017 in the community as well. So when you're building a team from the ground up, which is these guys, You bring in character people. I would take Demario Davis as the character even more than the player, and he is still a very functional linebacker on a team. Yes, they're going to be starting from scratch. They also have 5 picks in the first 2 rounds this year. So let's slow down with just telling them terrible.
Okay, yeah, they'll do the right thing with those.
Yeah.
Right?
Who's going to play quarterback for him?
Time and time again.
They will. What's that, Dano?
Who's going to play quarterback for him? I do like the Minka signing, and I do like Demario Davis. But like, who's going to play quarterback for him? Because Kyler's going a minute.
I have one. Can I report a breaking news deal here, guys?
Yeah.
Schrager, do I get a tweet or no? Do
You better bring one here.
Ravens to the Giants pipeline might not be done. It sounds like the Giants are working on a deal to bring in punter Jordan Stout, one of the tops in the game, Pat.
That's good bomb.
That is a possible. They're working on it.
Peter Schrager.
Not official yet, and I probably shouldn't have jumped the gun, but that's what I'm saying. Giants, Jordan Stout, they are working the deal out on that one right there. That's a big one considering their issues on
don't cut
special
him off
teams.
at the knees. We just did a full thing.
I was excited. He said Baltimore Giants
That's pretty
pipeline.
good.
I was like, here we go.
Yeah, but look at the fun zone, Dano. We don't need you
take
cutting
them.
them
This
down.
is fine.
Yeah, a big punter move is huge for us. Shout out to Jordan Stout. I'll be excited to see what a punter is getting nowadays. Okay, first when I retired, and would that have changed anything? I'm not 100% sure. Jordan is certainly worthy of the conversation. Let's head over to Schefter to get a little bit more details on the Davis signing, and I believe there was also another signing that took place while we were in the fun zone. Shefty, what's going on over there? How Davis happened, and what else is taking place?
Demario Davis started his career with the Jets, obviously going back there to finish it. You heard Peter talk about the punter. We're waiting on a bunch of wide receivers. Joseph Asai also went to the Jets. So the Jets get Joseph Asai and Demario Davis, and they trade for Minka Fitzpatrick. So there are 3 moves that get done today with the New York Jets on defense.
Okay, so Aaron Glenn wants to bring back a dominant defense for the New York Jets. He is a defensive guy. When he was with the Detroit Lions, their defense was great. That's just no questions asked. Massive piece and a massive reason for why the Detroit Lions got back into well, I guess not back. Why the Detroit Lions got to a place where their fans were expecting to win games. So he was a huge part of that. We hope he has success over there. How do you feel about the moves Aaron Glenn has made for his defense with the Jets?
I like the move. Vet, obviously, he can play football at a high level. He can communicate. And what Schrage said as far as being a leader on and off the field, he's been that for pretty much his entire career. Then the Minka Fitzpatrick which happened this morning. You rarely see a in-division trade like this from Miami, going there, getting a new deal. I think still only 29 years old, so still have a lot of great football left. And another player that can not only play at a high level, but also communicate at a high level as well. So I like both of these moves right now from Aaron Glenn. And last year, it was a part of the Sauce trade. I still have belief in A.D. Mitchell on the offensive side of the ball. Who's going to play quarterback? That's big, but I think that A.D. Mitchell trade will be good down the line.
For what?
For the Jets. Stay tuned. Mark it.
Football?
What's this?
I think
March
so, too.
9th,
He had a nice game for him this year.
I agree. He does have a lot of it.
Yeah.
AD has all the ability in the world, all the talent in the world. He could be guy, could actually be guy. Is that place going to turn him into it?
That's the
I
question.
hope so.
That's the question.
I hope that happens. We have some more breaking news as I think we wait. Will we wait for Shefty to hit this one? It is within the ESPN family of tweets.
Oh, wow.
We shall
It's
wait.
in the ESPN
We
family.
shall wait. Shefty has 3.
Might be flipping tables.
2, and please, they're laughing.
Yeah, they like that.
That is the fun zone.
No
over
rules
there.
in the fun zone.
All right, we'll give Shefty 5, 4, 3, 2, and nothing from his Twitter account. Jeremy Fowler is reporting Kenny Gainwell to the Bucks for 2 years, $14 million.
Wow.
He was a huge piece for you guys on the offensive side.
He was the team MVP, Pat. That's how big of a piece he was last year. Ken Gainwell was awesome. Dan mentioned earlier, led the team with 73 receptions, I believe. It wasn't just receiving out of the backfield. He was Aaron's go-to guy when they needed to check it down, which happened to be a lot. That's how you get 73 catches. That huge play against the Lions right there in that game. But it wasn't just that. He ran the ball really well. He never, ever made a mistake. He was the perfect, and that's why he was a great teammate and was voted the team MVP. The Bucks got a good one there, and I'm sad to lose Kenny G down there.
Yeah, I think Philly was sad. I think Pittsburgh's sad.
Yeah.
I feel like the Bucks
He
will
was
probably take advantage of it. And now there's some teams that have been absent from our conversation here a little bit. Let's look at the cap cap space. There's some teams that have a lot of money that we haven't really heard from. I wonder what's going on. Are extra negotiations happening? Are agents trying to get some more money? Remember, this is the highest salary cap in the history of ball. It jumped up $20 million this year. Unexpected. I think they were thinking maybe 15, maybe 12. Yeah. It goes up 20 million, and now all of a sudden GMs can make more plays. $110 million the Raiders have.
That's a lot of money.
That's over a third of the salary cap is not spent yet. Whenever you talk about a full rebuild, especially if you're going to get a quarterback, you got Brock Bowers, you got Ashton Genty. You would think offensive line is where we're going to work at. Yeah. You get rid of Max Crosby, so you're obviously going to have to do some work on the defensive side, pick up a couple picks. It's like the Raiders are in a position to make massive changes to potentially become a successful franchise?
I don't see why not.
Is that what's possible here, Lay? $110 million. When's it going to go out the door? We shall wait and see.
Yeah, you assume pretty quick, especially with Kubiak being a first time, not just first year head coach, trying to basically bring in players that kind of fit his scheme. So that's where you would assume Tyler Linderbaum or at least some of those highest paid guys would be going pretty soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, for a punter. Shefty tweet. Jordan Stott, as Peter Schrager alluded to.
Wow.
Reached agreement with the Giants on a 3-year, $12.3 million deal that makes him the NFL's highest paid punter and reunites him with his former head coach, John Harbaugh. The deal cannot be signed until Wednesday, like all of these.
Just a reminder.
Per ESPN sources.
What do you mean?
We had a Schrager bomb here from the front zone. We know where it came from.
What's that all about, Shefty? I thought we did journalism. I thought, hey, Shefty, you didn't want to give Schrags any love. What was the per sources all about, Shefty?
Wait, what's that? I love Peter Schrager. I'm trying to keep my head above water, okay? That's all I know. We got more deals coming. Hold on.
Schrags, you are per ESPN sources now.
I'll take it. Look, this is a good one for them. They want to bring a lot of those culture guys and the guys that know Harbaugh and Roman and the whole crew, so they bring them over. Stout is a great punter, and it improves that. That was the moment of the show for me. That was great.
Yeah, there's going to be more. I mean, I feel like he's like, hey. Big punter news. I like anytime. I like anytime that can happen. That is a big deal, though. 3 years, $12.3 million. Huge. $4.1 million a year to punt a football. Congratulations, Jordan. You earned it. Proud of you, buddy. You should be incredibly happy. Now all the other punters look and say, like, okay, when we're up, that's the new line. For me, remember when I was negotiating, we didn't want to get that, you know.
A little bit blood.
Let's have a couple misses potential, you know, if I get in there. I'm going to be loud. There's going to be a lot of tweets coming. There's going to be a lot of this. We don't need to be putting ourselves in a position where, oh, is that right, huh? So this guy's loud and he misses and we're highs. Yeah. Cap casualty in the special teams room is very real on a regular basis. Him going to New York, obviously great. I talked to Giants super duper fan back there. He said the Scottish Hammer he's okay with moving on from him.
It's time.
Scottish Hammer had a hell of a run over there. Had a lot of magic.
Some tough
great rugby player out of Scotland. He comes in and punts for the Giants. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, the new quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, Malik Willis.
Yeah, Malik.
Hey, I appreciate you.
How are you, man? I love that the hair is where it is. Let's keep that going, especially for Miami. Obviously, we're all involved in that. How do you feel knowing that you're the next quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, Malik?
Yeah, I'm great. Just got off the field. Super excited to be down there. I mean, guys I know, Halfley and Sully. I'm real familiar with those guys and excited to go to work and try to do something special, bro. It's a blessing.
We all assumed that you would be there because of what you just said there with Halfley and Sully. Schrager reported earlier that he talked to Halfley and he was like, I want against Malik every single day in practice, literally every single day. So people were talking about reps, lack of reps, what's good, what's not good. Felt like they had a good feel for how great of a quarterback you could be in the NFL and wanted you in Miami. How many different teams were talking to you? Was it a wild time for you to experience this because of how good you played last year in this free agency period? And when did you kind of know that this was probably going to be home for you?
I'm just trying to take advantage of every opportunity I can get. And we're going to leave all that in the past. It's over with now. I'm just trying to go down there and do what I can to help them, do some special things. And that's taking it one day at a time, putting the work in and seeing where the chips fall.
Okay, so you've obviously seen what life is like at the top as the franchise quarterback. How do you expect yourself now to lead the Dolphins? What have you learned from the last time maybe? And how do you kind of take what your past is and now make it the best version of yourself in South Florida?
All you can do is be genuine yourself and do what you can to put everything that you have on the table. All you can do is do your part and, hold guys accountable as well as hold yourself accountable and not be afraid for, all those things to play together. I mean, we can't do it by ourselves. It's a team game. I know they have all these different, thought processes about it, but it's a team game, and we got to be all in it together.
45 M's guaranteed.
Hell yeah.
Hey, we doing good. Any first thoughts on what we're buying? Need to do something? Need to treat ourselves? We worked hard for this moment. Any thoughts on that, or are we just working all ball all the time?
Yeah, I gotta take a shower now, bro. I just got off the field. You can't call me at a bad time. To figure out something to eat.
Yeah, man. Get yourself a good meal, brother. Eat well. You deserved it. You earned it. And congrats on going to Miami. We got Dolphins fans in here who are incredibly pumped for you going down there. So good luck, man.
I appreciate it. Let's do it.
D-Bud has the last question for you, Malik.
Hell yeah. Was it one thing in particular that stood out for you last year in particular that kind of, I guess, slowed down for you? We know year in and year out things slow down regardless of positions, but especially at that quarterback position. Anything in particular that jumps out for you last year?
I mean, in all reality, it's my first time being in the system for more than a year since I've been in the league. So I felt just that much more comfortable being able to go out there and just do it, whatever it takes to get the job done. And it was just great having that familiarity.
You're awesome to watch, dude. Your moxie was outrageous. It feels like Miami needs that more than anything right now. So good luck down there. Thank you for taking time, and congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
You too, ladies and gentlemen. Malik Willis.
Yeah, Malik.
Just wants to work, dude.
Yeah.
I just got off the field,
It's
man.
on the field.
Beast.
Sorry I missed you. I know you guys were trying to do this like immediately after I signed. Sorry, dude. I was working out. You guys knew it. I didn't know when I was going to sign, so I knew I was going to agree to something, I guess. We're off and running. Miami's got a guy. It feels like. Miami's got a guy. We also have another breaking news, another punter.
What?
Did we know the punter market was about to be like
On
this?
day one?
Vikings punter Ryan Wright is signing a 4-year, $14 million deal that includes $8 million guaranteed with the Saints. He's going down to Bayou. NFC South punting is a good place to be punting in as well. This guy bombs balls. I'm excited to watch that happen. I believe there was another announcement out of Shefty's Twitter account, if we were to get over to that, about a Shefty tweet. This one's about a Paisan. Former Lions linebacker Alex Anzalone is signing a 2-year, $17 million deal with the Buccaneers. Let's head over to the man that broke the news. Shefty, what's the deal with Anzalone? Did we know he was on the move? I thought he was the staple of the Detroit Lions defense.
Well, here's the interesting one with Alex Anzalone. Of course, he lives in Tampa, wanted to stay in Tampa, but it's a situation where the Jets were interested, the Giants were interested, but he didn't want to leave Tampa Bay. And ultimately, he gets a deal done with the Buccaneers. They give him the money to make it worth his while to stay in Tampa, which was his preference. And obviously, everybody else now needs to regroup at the linebacker position, which you saw the Jets do. The Jets have been busy here getting DeMario Davis, Joseph Asai, and Minka Fitzpatrick today.
Anzalone on the move. He's gone. I love to know how that convo goes with his agent. Hey, we got a couple places here to pay. You see my house? I like my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the bay, we can get you a bay somewhere. Nope. I like my house here. Okay, I would like to stay right here in Tampa Bay. They're able to get a deal done. Good for him. Go ahead, Tone.
No, I just say the Bucs have been very active so far since noon. They brought back K. Dahn. They get Anzalone. They get Ken Gainwell. I think I'm missing one too. So the Bucs so far have already done 3 or 4 deals, and it's only been an hour and 22 minutes.
And that's all with Mike Evans just kind
Yes.
of looming over top. Does he return to the Bucs? Let's head over to the free agency fun zone. Schrags, you kind of been on the Mike Evans watch since the beginning. All these moves are telling you they don't have money for Mike, or are all these moves saying maybe they do bring back Mike?
Let me make this clear. The Buccaneers are desperate to bring back Mike Evans. They love Mike Evans. They want Mike Evans to go wire to wire in his career. This will be a Mike Evans decision if he wants to leave. And the feeling around the league is that Mike Evans is going to have a market. He has a market, and that this might be the time he gets off the bus and he actually leaves Tampa Bay to finish his career elsewhere. We will see where it all goes down, but Tampa Bay has made several efforts to keep him. They love him, and you could tell the story of this. Jason Light, the GM of the Buccaneers, his first ever draft pick in that loaded draft was Mike Evans, and the families are even that close. So this is family to the Buccaneers. They would hate to lose Mike Evans, but it sounds like after all the years and all the work he's put in, he might be looking to explore and find another home. And now I think it might be a surprise where he goes too. We should know in the next couple of hours. I thought it was going to be in the first hour and a half. We will see. But Mike Evans, one of the biggest names, a future Hall of Famer, is going to likely be with a new team.
Dan Orlovsky said it Rams. Isn't that what you said, Dan? You know what you said, Dan?
Yeah, my head goes to the Rams. My head goes to Buffalo. Even with the addition of DJ Moore, I think if financial would be tough, I go Baltimore with Lamar. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston gets into the conversation.
He's from Houston, Texas.
He's from Houston. Obviously, Texas A&M with his college background. I still, Mike isn't what he was 3, 4, 5, 6 years. He's still awesome. He's still one-on-one, an absolute problem in one-on-one coverage. You guys watch these clips. Mike's not getting wide open separation-wise, but every single time it seems like Mike finds a way to come down with the football. But to Peter's point, maybe a surprise team. If I'm Mike and I'm going to take that jump to leave the place that I've been at forever, it should be for a 1, quarterback that's a stud, 2, we got a chance to win the whole thing, a legit chance to win the whole thing. That's why I say Buffalo, that's why I say Baltimore.
Okay, hold on. You guys are saying 30 teams. I mean, you're saying surprise team, and now we're rattling off.
Everybody in the league would love to have
the
him.
Chiefs, the Rams, the Buffalo,
Like
Colts.
4 or 5 teams. I didn't say the Colts.
Contenders.
Why didn't you say the Colts? What's that all about?
I just didn't say the Colts.
Contenders, yeah.
Yeah, well, we got Alec Pierce, so don't worry about that. Highest paid ever. Maybe Mike Evans could learn a little something.
Yeah, and you already lost Pittman.
Maybe he could learn a little something, okay? I'll tell you what, Pittman gone is certainly, which brings in room for Mike Evans to kind of come in here. Has the surprise team been said yet, Shrakes?
No. And I don't want to put it out there because if it doesn't happen, it looks good. But there's a team that's laying in the weeds that has not been mentioned or attached to him yet that might be a snake in the grass.
Can I throw it out there?
Yeah.
49ers?
Well, it's kind of been.
That's been intimated.
Yeah, it's already been talked about. You were talking already though, so you couldn't hear us say it. All right, we appreciate the fun zone over there. Certainly getting active over there, ladies and gentlemen. We have a fullback deal. Okay, this one's being reported by Jeff Howe. Fullback Reggie Gilliam and the Patriots have agreed to a 3-year deal worth up to $12 million, including $6 million guaranteed per source. There was a Alec Ingold signing this weekend too. It feels like fullbacks are kind of making some cash. The Patriots are getting back in the game.
I mean, that's the thing we always talk about, how cyclical football is, and some teams are ahead of the curve, and some aren't, and it just so happens that the New England Patriots are one of those teams, not to mention we stole them from Buffalo's hands, which makes it even sweeter. But yeah, definitely thought we might have gotten a receiver to New England at this point, but I think everyone up there will be pretty pumped about a fullback too.
Yeah, listen, I heard he's got good hands. He's been working on them.
Oh yeah, he's a junkyard dog.
Yes, he's
too.
deceptive speed.
Big son of a bitch.
Yeah, he looks for contact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he is certainly something. As Schefter's not at his seat over there, he's certainly running around trying to work. Don't know if he went to his first bathroom break since 6 a.m. or if he's just off screen trying to do his thing over in his room. There is some news that has happened. I think we should wait for Adam Schefter to go ahead and do it. There's like 45 different people breaking signings. It's a crazy time to be. Ladies and gentlemen, Schefter's heading back to his seat.
Okay.
Schefter's heading back to his seat. We do not know if he put a tweet out. Schefter, you need you to put a tweet out, though, so we can do the whole gimmick thing.
No, on who?
You know who. You know who.
Oh, Kobe Bryant.
Boom.
Do the tweet.
Yep.
Put the tweet out. We'll go back. Foxy will go back. Foxy will go back. We'll leave him off the screen. He'll do the tweet, and all of a sudden, and boom. Shefty tweet. Big deal. Hey, what's going on? Something happened with Kobe. Rest in peace. Something happened with the NFL's Kobe Bryant, Schefter. What's going on out there?
Well, he's going to the Chicago Bears from the Seattle Seahawks. So the Seattle Seahawks today, the world champions, are paying the Super Bowl tax. They lose Kenneth Walker to the Kansas City Chiefs. They lose their defensive back, Kobe Bryant, who they loved. They loved this guy's personality. They loved his play. He's going to the Bears on a 3-year, $40 million deal.
Okay, I like Kobe Bryant heading over there. D-Butt, what are your thoughts on the Bears loading up with one of the young studs in the NFL?
I like this move. They have a couple free agents, obviously Byard and Briskers. They have some guys. And Sean Wright, who had a breakout year last year at cornerback. I'm interested to see what his numbers look like. This is a good signing for them. They were up in the league, up at the top of the league when it came to turnovers, but we know year in and year out that kind of fluctuates a lot. This is a great signing for Dennis Allen at defense.
We have no tweet, no highlights there for Kobe Bryant because Schefter told us he was going to put the tweet up. He obviously didn't. He was on to the next one. So we apologize just for the blank TV there as D-Boat was talking. We try to never put people to sleep if they're watching this, especially on free agency frenzy.
Yeah.
A couple of the big teams still have yet. Can we get the salary cap graphic back up there? Raiders, we talk about them having $110 million. Tennessee Titans have cash. That's even after the Jermaine Johnson trade that takes place, $90 million. Washington Commanders, LA Chargers have an opportunity. The Jets have been making a lot of moves. Hey, Jets.
There you go.
on you.
That's right. Trying.
Seattle Seahawks not able to sign anybody, still have a lot of cash. Fascinating move. What Schneider got up his sleeve, con man?
Well, definitely something big. You can assume that Seattle, whether they be retaining a lot of the players that might be up in a year or two, but the Titans, one of the I thought locks of the entire free agent frenzy was Wan'Dale Robinson rejoining Dayball, and that felt like kind of an open, closed, shut case. And then all of a sudden, nothing's happening. Are some of these deals affecting some of the other free agent deals? You wonder if some of these guys were like locked in, gonna go. Pierce comes through, and then he'll hold on, give me a little bit more money. Like, I don't understand why we haven't gotten as many deals so far.
Pittman, 3 years, $59 million. Also another deal that I assume some people are looking at and saying, excuse me. And those salary cap, that was updated as 10 minutes ago, so not all the brand new deals have been put in there, so those numbers will obviously change, but there's still a lot of cash out there for teams, Tone.
Yeah, there is. There's a ton, and I'm surprised. There's still a lot of big names out there, and Connor mentioned the Wan'Dale, and he was tied. There's a lot of people in this office potentially talking about Wan'Dale to the Titans earlier today. But you talk about Linderbaum, and there's a lot of edge talent out there still with Hendrickson and Odafe Owe. There's a lot going on out there still.
Shefty tweet, I think this one might be missing some information that we all need. For Pat McAfee Show, thank you, Shefty. Another punter deal.
Jeez.
Former Dolphins punter Jake Bailey is signing a 3-year, $9 million deal that includes $5 million fully guaranteed. To where, Shefty?
To the Atlanta Falcons. The tweet has been updated, Pat. Here from the Nightline set, we've just updated the tweet. He is signing with the Atlanta Falcons.
Did we know the punter market was going to be like this, Shefty?
No, I really don't understand exactly what's going on. I did not expect a mad rush on punters in the first 90 minutes of free agency, but clearly you missed the window. You made the right decision going into broadcasting, Pat, but you missed the punting window here with some big dollars.
Yeah, we're in the golden era right here of punters. I will say there's a lot of great punters. Jake Bailey obviously has been good for a long time. Falcons have Tua, allegedly, and Penix. They said we need a punter.
We're going to be punting a lot.
You don't deserve that. Tua and Penix, you don't deserve that.
Might be Tua's best friend.
Atlanta does not deserve that. Exactly. And the punter, Jake Bailey, we know him pretty well out of Stanford. Obviously, went up to New England. He's done a lot of incredible things, nice things for us. He did his My Cleat, My Cause for Further Brand, which was, for dogs so we could raise money for veterinarian stuff. So, I'm a big fan of Jake Bailey. $5 million fully guaranteed on a 3-year deal. I think I'm pretty pumped that I'm not punting anymore, but I am excited for these guys getting paid to bomb balls. D-Bud, I've been saying it this whole time. 2026, it's cyclical. We didn't know we were going to go all the way back, though. The punter is the most important position in ball. This is day one of free agency, and they're making sure they got the money for it. I respect and appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's the first play of defense, right? You got to set that offense up, all about field position. I think they're dialed in. They know this is for the brand. This is free agency frenzy 2026.
They're doing it for us, you think?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Smart.
Good chance.
McAfee, that asshole, they gave him the whole thing for 3 hours because they counter-programmed him last year. Let's get some punter stuff.
Yeah, send out a memo.
Let's get some punter stuff. Highest punter ever, maybe another punter. Let's go ahead and do that. Ooh, we have some more signings taking place. Millions and millions of dollars kind of going out the window from teams in hopes and efforts to bring in a guy that could potentially change their entire trajectory of what their season could become. What is the updated amount of money that has been spent thus far in this beautiful Monday, March 9th free agency frenzy schedule? Because it's over $700 million as we ended hour one. Over $1 billion.
Of course.
Man.
$1 billion has been sent out in contracts. Now, granted, the gross number doesn't really mean shit.
Sure.
Okay. Now, it means a little bit more than what it used to. Back in the day, the agents had a nice little gimmick with the reporters where they would give them a deal and say, hey, this deal is worth $700 billion. Yeah. Go ahead and send it. That sounds like a lot. Send it. That's what it is. What's the actual deal, though? Nobody needs to know. That's what it used to be. Nobody would ever even know what the actual deal is. Now we know guarantees and what injury this and what's this and that. It's much better than it was before because there used to be things that you had to do that you would never get money. Now we're starting to get to points where what's it called?
Likely to be earned?
Incentives? What's it called? Incentives, yeah, but there's something that's
installments.
We'll figure out the word. Whatever the case, they hit the incentives. It's called escalator. The escalators of contracts are easier to attain, I think, now than they used to be. But gross money up over $1 billion, guaranteed probably obviously less than that. But the boys are making money. I mean, the boys are making money and dreams are coming true. And some of the biggest names have yet to even be chatted about whenever we talk about this free agency frenzy, D-Bud.
Yeah, what I love to see is the shorter deals with a large chunk in guarantees. And then you obviously have to get into the weeds on the real guarantees against injury, what's fully guaranteed. But I love seeing these 3-4 year deals with essentially 3 of those years fully guaranteed, regardless of position. We know, we'll probably never get the fully guaranteed full contracts in football because of how violent it is, but I do love the makeup of these new deals.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll be excited to see where we end up at 3 o'clock Eastern as we hand it over to SportsCenter's NFL free agency led by Laura Rutledge and entire NFL Live team. I believe Dan Orlovsky and Schrags will be live all day. Schefter's not leaving this whole
No. Brought a blow-up mattress.
We had to plug in the internet to his phone over here. Okay? And he said, the internet's not working. I know it's not working. It should be going up quicker than it is.
Got a bucket.
The guy's underwater. Is he not? Oh, look at him. He's getting a protein bar.
He's pacing.
He's pacing. He's got things going on. Now, I will say this to Adam Schefter, just to give him a little bit of credit. The league sources that we talked to, league source says, told us that this free agency frenzy day basically driven by
that guy.
Whenever he got to NFL Network, he wanted it. He was like, hey, I think we can do a lot of these tampering deals. We should promote it. We should promote. And it was kind of like, nah, don't want to do that. Don't want to do it. The league year doesn't start till Wednesday or whatever. And I guess Schefter has been a big driver for this to become an actual thing, which is what I love. I appreciate the hell out of him doing that. But also getting to witness the creator, the founder, on the day in which he is expected to show up has been quite an experience.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, he said to us last week, and he's been right in terms of his intensity, we needed to put a sign up that said the dog fucking bites, just so everyone isn't going in there and trying to distract him and get in his way. But this also should have been a thing a long time ago. I mean, with how popular the NFL has gotten, and also, over $1 billion spent so far, it lends itself to, there's constantly something to talk about. And in terms of fans, you were talking about it earlier, any one of these signings could be that thing that puts you over and says, hey, we can go win a Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the things that has happened around the NFL. The Cowboys have given a second-round tender to their kicker, Brandon Aubrey. Remember, there was a nasty, disgusting rumor.
It's gross.
Might have been down there at one of the coffee shops where people lie and fight each other.
Could have been.
During the combine. They say he was looking for $10 million a year, and he's not accepting anything less than that. Then his agent and his wife came out and were like, that's not real. Now, granted, did somebody say at one point, you could pay Brandon Aubrey $10 million a year and you'd be okay with that? Maybe. But that is not what they're looking for. They're looking for a fair deal. They get a second-round tender for $5.76 million. Good for Brandon Aubrey, who certainly earned that. Let's go over to the free agency fund zone. Schrags, what does that mean, second-round tender, and how often are those going to be used today in this free agency frenzy period so guys can at least have to look at staying home as opposed to going elsewhere?
Yeah, that basically gives the Cowboys the right of refusal. If someone wants to offer him something wild, they can. They get a second rounder back. It's a complicated deal with the CBA with how these work. It's similar to what Daniel Jones did with the transition tag, where if another team wants to come in and go over the top, well, there's going to be a cost to pay, but the Colts, of course, would have that chance to match it. What's interesting to me is now we're 90 minutes in, and yeah, we had our fun with the punters and all this, but you have some top interior defensive linemen. Nobody really has been signed in that list, which is John Franklin Myers and Sheldon Rankins and Logan Hall. And then you go to the guys like Trey Hendrickson and Odafe Owe and Kwity Paye, who obviously you guys know from the Indianapolis days. But that was what we were told, that this is a good free agent class to solidify your defensive line. And yet so far we've seen mostly corners, running backs, a couple quarterbacks go. When do the defensive top guys get off the board, especially the front seven?
Last year, D-line ran free agency frenzy, over $800 million spent on the D-line. Corners are getting, obviously, contracts right now. Dan Orlovsky, Malik Willis to Miami after we talked to him. What did you hear there, and what are your expectations now for the rest of the quarterback market, including potentially Kirk Cousins getting into the game?
Yeah, so I do think that him going to Miami just makes a ton of sense for where the Dolphins are right now. It makes me think of the butterfly effect of, okay, with Malik going to Miami, what does that mean for Pittsburgh? Do they think in Pittsburgh that Aaron is a 100% going? What's going to happen with the New York Jets? Are the Jets going to sign a Kirk Cousins or a Geno Smith? What's going to happen to Arizona? Who's going to play quarterback in Arizona this year? Because there's this small crop of teams that, there's some of these veteran quarterbacks now that Malik is gone. who's going to kind of be some of these bridge starting quarterbacks for teams? I also think of like Linderbaum. Everyone talks about young quarterbacks, and they say the best thing you can give a young quarterback is a tight end. I think the best thing you can give a young quarterback is a good defense and then a good center. And so if I'm the Raiders, is Linderbaum going to go to the Raiders? Is Linderbaum going to go to the Giants with Jackson Dart? And so not only quarterbacks, but like he's by far the best center available.
I think what's interesting with Linderbaum is you mentioned you have that hour to talk to teams. You could also have this Linderbaum deal where, all right, I got an offer in the hand, okay, and now let's leverage these other teams. I think he's a highly coveted center. Who'd you mention? The Raiders?
I mentioned the Raiders and I mentioned the Giants. I'd like to see him go to somewhere that's got a young
throw in another
quarterback.
team, and I can't confirm that it's actually like at that level, but the Commanders have been a team.
I love that as well.
A lot of money the Commanders have, Shreds.
They have money to spend.
Connor has a question for you, actually.
Yeah, now that the Eagles lost out on Phillips, and that was kind of a conversation going into today, like, hey, Jalen Phillips, they're going to pay him, they're going to keep him in Philly, and even just the idea of Philadelphia keeping the band together, Shrakes. Do you see them pivoting to like a Trey Hendrickson? Obviously, they were going to throw a bag at Phillips. Will they do that for Oweh or Hendrickson, or will they go in a different direction, maybe even get one of the top safeties out there because Blankenship's on the move as well?
I'll tell you this, Howie's main point today and priority of this week was to bring back the talent they had. I think they're surprised, and I think the league is surprised that Carolina actually got Jalen Phillips. So now you have to pivot. Question is, how do you pay Jalen Carter over the next few years when you also have Cooper DeJean coming up and Quinyon Mitchell and all these guys? So they might be just staying put. I don't know if they're going to swing the bat huge on one of these players like Trey Hendrickson or Oweh.
That's an issue, though, in Philadelphia. When Philly won the Super Bowl, their pass rush, and mainly because of their edge guys, was ridiculous. It fell off big time last year.
They brought back Jordan Davis.
But
They
Jalen
just
Phillips
gave him his money.
A lot of money.
100%. But Jalen Phillips was the best edge pass rusher they had by far. Nolan Smith missed some time. They brought Brandon Graham back. And so Phillips going to Carolina has got bigger ripple effect than we think. I agree with Boston Connor's point of like, they're going to have to find an edge pass rusher here that's going to have some impact because that's a pretty significant loss for a team that didn't have it.
I'm curious to see Nakobe Dean's market, if he is someone that they can bring back at a deal that makes sense to them. Again, the problem when you have all these great players out of Georgia and all these young talented players, you have to pay them at some point. Jalen Phillips was a third-round pick trade at the deadline. He exceeded expectations. They loved him, and he spurns them, and he goes. They'll get a compensatory pick back. That said, Carolina, Brant Tillis, Dan Morgan, those guys up there in the front office, this was done. This was one of those that was a snake in the grass thing. No one had Carolina signing Jalen Phillips, which is why I love free agent frenzy. That's a surprise to around the league, but it's also a surprise in this chair right here.
Dan Morgan put a 12 zinner in and said, let's go ahead and go Black Ops, go Navy SEAL under here. Let's get this deal done. He certainly does that. What is Trey Hendrickson's market then? Where do we think?
Your guess is better than mine, man.
That's right.
Come on.
All right, let's go into the free agency frenzy zone. He's not at the desk, but we will certainly call him over there. He can certainly hear us. Schefter might have a little bit more intel on who Trey Hendrickson might end up with. Shefty is eating a protein bar, trying to get more information.
Push up.
He has no idea that we are. No, he's working on it.
Yeah, he's locked in.
He's right. He's locked in. He's locked in. He's doing his thing.
That's been his working spot. He stands literally right there.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe it's the best Wi-Fi in this situation.
No, he's plugged into the Wi-Fi. We had to plug hardwire into his phone.
Yep. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, I also am a person whose phone shits the bed whenever it comes to Wi-Fi and all that type of stuff. But if he was having both his phones shit the bed over there, I mean, that's crazy. We got a wireless thing in there.
That's right.
Yeah, because we knew that he needed to be plugged in. You also need a certain type of protein bar. Need a little bit of water. Obviously, need a couple power stations. We need to make sure we got power coming through his place.
Oh, yeah.
Shefty's rider is very easy, but boy, it seemed like it was definitely a necessity.
Yeah, it's airtight. And if you mess that up, like you're going to have to deal with the dog. So that's why we knew, hey, make sure you have all this stuff.
Big news released earlier today was Travis Kelce coming back for another season with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
Congratulations on that decision. We know that is not easy. It felt as if Travis was coming back. Last year felt like maybe he wasn't going to play. This year felt like he was going to come play. I forget who it was, the coach who just got back over there, offensive coordinator. Bieniemy. And whatever he talked about Bieniemy re-signing back with the Kansas City Chiefs on the New Heights podcast with Jason Kelce, he basically said, can't wait to see him in the building. And as soon as we heard it, we're like, ooh, what, is he stalking the building? Or is he going to be in the building? Is he going to own the team? I think the Hunt family's going to keep it, but how is he going to see him in the building? It's like, oh, he's playing. And then there was never a single thing that he said that made us believe that he wasn't going to play. I genuinely, and I'll continue to believe this, and he has not said anything to confirm any of these sources or anything like that. I believe his relationship with Taylor Swift is only going to make him better. And for the long haul, his career is already certified. The guy's first ballot Hall of Famer, maybe.
Yeah, you can't really say that
Bill
anymore.
Belichick wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, but Travis Kelce should be first ballot Hall of Famer, should be in conversation of greatest tight end of all time, should be a guy who, after earning over $100 and some million, be set up for the rest of his life, regardless of who he is dating. He's a Super Bowl champion multiple times. Everybody on earth likes him. It's like he has everything done. That is called hay in barn. We can move on with next era, especially with how good the podcast is. But I think he sees Taylor kill it. I think he sees Taylor continue to kind of grow, continue to strive, continue to try to get better. And I think they work together off of that. I think that is something that is a beautiful kindred spirit that can motivate each other. And we said that immediately upon them dating each other. It's like when two greats are together, it's good for society. It's certainly good for the Chiefs, especially for everybody that wanted Travis Kelce to be back, which is Chiefs fans. And I'm pumped for him, man. They get Kenneth Walker, Travis Kelce coming back, Patrick Mahomes doing his thing. Who knows what they do at wide receiver? But there's a chance this Chiefs team is all the way back, as we are hearing noise from somebody. We're not 100% sure who once. Let's head into the free agency frenzy zone with Schefter. Schefter, is this on Travis Kelce or is this on something else, sir?
Tyler Lindenbaum, huge deal, Pat, going to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
3 years, $81 million, $60 million guaranteed, highest paid interior offensive lineman in NFL history. And think about this. The Raiders trade Max Crosby to the Ravens. It frees up salary space. They had a lot. They had all the space. Now they go take the Ravens center, Tyler Linderbaum, going to the Las Vegas Raiders to snap for, we presume, Fernando Mendoza.
Congratulations, Linderbaum.
Baby. Hell yeah.
We're happy for Tyler, Iowa Hawkeye.
That's right.
Iowa high school wrestler. I mean, a dog through and through. At Baltimore, he was fantastic. Now he heads over to the Raiders. The Raiders had a lot of money, okay? They had $83 million or something like that on Friday at noon. They make a couple different moves, then they end up with $110 million. Everybody talks about how they need an offensive line. Linderbaum's name was still out there. It was like, is this a destiny thing? Is this a match made in heaven? They agree. Highest paid interior offensive lineman of all time. Over $60 million guaranteed for a body mover, a man shaker, and a leader, hopefully, for an offensive line that has Ashton Genty in the backfield, Brock Bowers as a tight end, and in our eyes, Fernando Mendoza, who's a quarterback that's definitely going to be able to get it, especially if he's protected. What a play by the Raiders. This is Tom Brady getting in there. This is the boys getting in there and saying, hey, we suck no more. How do we get good? We invest in the trenches. They found it. I think everybody's going to love this move, especially other interior offensive linemen that go, shit, we can make $60 million guaranteed. Now life is good, D-Bud.
Yeah, you always got to build from the trenches out, and we know how shitey that Raiders offensive line was.
bad.
We saw Genty last year, and even coming into the league, we knew he was a dynamic weapon, but he was getting hit in the backfield, it seemed like, on every carry. So now you have a veteran center who Dano mentioned, and you get this for a young quarterback. We expect Fernando Mendoza to be able to make all the protections and the checks and all these things, but when you have a savvy veteran that can do it kind of for him almost until he gets caught up to speed, that helps things tremendously. And I don't think they're done when it comes to offensive line and building that, those trenches in front of who we think Fernando Mendoza, that'll be the starting quarterback.
Creed Humphrey was making $18 million. Somebody's microphone's on, maybe Schefter's. Creed Humphrey was making $18 million a year. This is significantly more. He becomes the highest paid interior offensive lineman. Good for him. Happy for him. Let's head over to the free agency fun zone with Schrags and Orlovsky. Schrags, huge play by the Raiders, who finally spend some of that money that they've had.
Huge play. And remember, last year, this was a disaster on the offensive line. They had a rotating door at center. They bring in Linderbaum. Some interesting things. Rick Dennison is the offensive line coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, who Kubiak brings in, 30-year offensive line coach, one of the most respected guys. Secondly, worth noting, the Ravens opted not to pick up Linderbaum's fifth-year option last year, which is a wild decision in hindsight. Now he goes for the highest money ever given to a center in free agency, the highest money ever given to a guard in free agency, just a year later after the fact, not getting his 5th-year option picked up.
Yeah, that's the best thing the Raiders could have done for if the pick is going to be Fernando Mendoza. I think it's one of the best things you can do for a young quarterback is just give him a great experienced center. Everyone talked about this past weekend, Dahlman deciding to retire from Chicago and kind of the foresight or looking back on his impact on Caleb and their offense and his ability to control protections. It's not that Mendoza, if he's going to be the pick, can't do it. It's taking something off of his plate as he's learning everything else. And so bringing Linderbaum not only in their run game to help Ashton Genty and his ability to play in that kind of that zone scheme, but also like his ability to kind of be in protection. You guys got some film?
You got Linderbaum film?
Yeah, I heard you got film.
You got some Linderbaum film?
Do you got some Linderbaum film, Dano?
All right, Foxy, play it.
Yeah!
All right, let me get my AQ Shipley on. Okay, so
we'll see.
AQ. So I want to go to the yellow here. This is going to be a little bit of a back block, okay? So when it comes to the ability to kind of step backside in this run game that's going to come over, that's power. So you pull the backside guard. This is a beautiful shot right there of Linderbaum just dominating his block. You can let it ride, Foxy. And so not only does he come over with like experience, once again, you're going to see, I want to go to this. Now it's going to be once again a back block, and it looks like we'll get another pull on the backside. And so, yeah, that's a down block or back block, AQ. You got it. And so Seattle runs a little bit of, this is going to be really nice, a little bit of one-on-one. Let's zoom in here. Come on, let's zoom in there. That's a Linderbaum one-on-one. That's fantastic. One-on-one. And the pass protection. And so Seattle went from one of the most run-heavy offenses in football last year. Now the Raiders are going to adapt that identity. And so I love the fact that with Clint Kubiak as their coach, they've got a center that comes from a run-heavy offense in Baltimore as well. And so I think it's a huge, huge signing. Everyone talks about perimeter players for quarterbacks. Keep them clean.
Yep.
Keep them upright and keep them clean. Allow them time. It's a great signing for Mendoza.
What a world of difference from last year. And now you have not only Clint Kubiak, Rick Dennison, Andrew Janocko, who comes over from Seattle as well. It feels like the Raiders are becoming a more professional organization and outfit right now. And also, of course, you trade Crosby and you get Linderbaum back. It wasn't a clean trade, but that will be one we'll analyze. The impact that Crosby makes on the Ravens.
It's kind of like 3 pieces.
Right? And then Linderbaum over there on the Raiders. It's almost a 1-for-1 deal with the money if you want to throw it out the window. That was the deal that was made.
Look at you guys over there in the fun zone kind of batting it around.
Yeah.
I like what you guys are doing.
Fives.
I like that. Now, Dano, you just did some good film breakdown there of offensive linemen. This is back block and it's a loop-de-woo. Joining us now, former center in the NFL, Super Bowl champion AQ Shipley.
Yeah,
AQ, okay. AQ, we started something called In the Trenches with you because you watched Dan Orlovsky break down offensive line film one time and puked, you said. So that's why we started In the Trenches. I think Dano did a pretty good job there talking about Linderbaum. And what else did he maybe miss, or what else would you like to add about why he's so good and worthy of the biggest deal in the history of interior offensive linemen?
Yeah, Dan's really done a nice job taking, really into the offensive line world and really understanding it. He did a great job there. Good back block.
Atta baby Dan!
Go boys!
Great job. Now, I think the one thing that people don't talk about enough with Linderbaum is the fact that he was a former high school state champion wrestler, right? That pass protection play that Dan showed, his balance is impeccable. He's incredible with his balance and pass protection right there, moving people off the spot. He is so good with lateral quickness, and this is only going to bode so well for the type of offense that Clint Kubiak is going to bring into that Raiders offense. And Rick Dennison, as Shregs mentioned earlier, I had him when I was in Baltimore. He comes from the Kubiak world. He was Gary Kubiak's O-line guru forever, now working with the younger Kubiak. I love this. This is a match made in heaven. John Spytek doing big things out there in Vegas.
Yeah, Spytek is, and you calling us from your bathtub is certainly a cool thing. We appreciate you, AQ.
Thank you,
AQ. I don't know where he was, but I'm happy you made some time. That was certainly not a preempted call. But him sitting there and watching Orlovsky was a nice little treat for me and Bruce, who knew that he was on the call. Dano didn't know that. I don't think any of the Bulls up here knew that. Dan, you were kind of dancing pretty close there. AQ was watching, ready to dunk on you. I think you nailed it, Dano. I think you nailed it.
Yeah, that's good for me. I did not know AQ was going to be there. Honestly, when you pulled him in, I was like, fudge, dude. AQ's going to come in and dunk on me here and tell me I'm some dummy. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it as a win.
Take it.
Yeah, fudge, dude. You really got fudged up there.
Whenever you say in the trenches, AQ is going to be there. Say his name. But, I mean, we always talk about pass rush when it comes from the edges. Shoring up that interior
it's everything,
for
man.
the offense, that everything, especially for a pocket quarterback.
Especially for a rookie quarterback. And Fernando Mendoza, Dan Orlovsky.
If he is the number 1 pick.
Okay, Dano, watch the rest of the season before we talk about quarterbacks in the draft. And on that note, Shefty tweet. Who's changing the trajectory? Former Falcons running back Tyler Algier reached an agreement today with the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, the Cardinals are starting to play.
Moves.
Cardinals, this is a new LaFleur operation out there. They've had 1,000 different coaches. They've been voted the worst facility in the NFL numerous times. Pittsburgh Steelers kind of took the lead on assness, I guess, in the most recent report card. Why is Algier the move for the Cardinals over there? And who's their quarterback, Schefter?
On Jacoby Brissett as a quarterback. They got their rework deal done with James Conner over the weekend. They're reaching agreement here with Tyler Algier. That is quite a tough backfield. When you've got James Conner coming off the injury and Tyler Algier who runs hard, that's a pretty good combination for the Arizona Cardinals out in the desert with their new head coach, Mike LaFleur.
That is a pretty good little combo out there.
I think
hey, Cardinals, pretty good little football team.
Wow.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
We will see.
I don't think Algier has ever fumbled his entire career. I believe I'm correct there. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I think I'm right.
I like the fact that you played that much defense against yourself just in case
Always
somebody
do.
tweets immediately afterwards. You dipshit, he lost the game for there. But I do appreciate the fact that we all think that's a tough football player.
Yes.
Like, we all think Tyler Algier, tough football player, immediately upon seeing his team. Mike LaFleur, interesting haircut. He's coming in with some meat.
Yeah.
His own.
He's coming He's coming in with some talent. And
meat.
Whenever you're good enough.
He's coming in with meat.
Whenever you're good enough.
No bread.
Oh, my God.
No water.
Go ahead, finish.
No, I didn't know if we were doing the whole call. Oh, meat. Shout out Booker T. Tyler Algier, James Cook, Connor going back there. Jacoby Brissett, by the way, always an option. It's
solid.
Maybe LaFleur makes some moves in this entire.
Maybe. You know, it's a lot to fix out there, but this you bringing in talent. That's what today is about, spending money in the right places. Whenever you're talented enough to take carries away from a guy like Bijan Robinson, you're a damn good running back. So this is a great signing for the Arizona Cardinals. We'll see what LaFleur can do over there. It's been a long time since they've been relevant.
It's been a long time since they haven't been asked. Every report card that comes says the building is trash. I mean, that's literally what it said.
Yeah.
Those NFLPA report cards, I think I know who was most upset about those getting out public. Don't we have some sort of non-disparage thing with the player? Like, every time I read these report cards, it's just dumping on my facility. And then it's like, the player's like, well, that's the only way you change these things. It's like, you're not allowed to do it.
Yeah. So I'm not changing.
You're going to have to find a new way.
Sue me.
You're going to have to find a new way because you're not going to do that. And then the players are like, oh, yeah, we didn't put it out. Leak right through there. Whose ass? Cardinals. Who else? Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
You guys maybe need to figure it out over there.
I don't think so. We're here to play ball. We're not here to hang out in the locker room and have nice things.
That's part of it now.
Okay.
Are we from the Steel City or?
Well, you got Michael Pittman over there now.
He loves it.
He's going to enjoy it. There's been a lot of moves made. Have any franchises changed the trajectory of their entire team for next year's hunt for the Lombardi? Feels like Linderbaum is a big play.
Huge.
Big play. That's also like a culture-defining type play. We knew it was coming. When did it come? Almost 2 hours in. What will the next hour hold? Wow. We still got another hour of magic here at the Thunderdome as the NFL's free agency frenzy continues. Then at 3 o'clock, we'll hand it over to the lovely Laura Rutledge, and then NFL Live will cover it. The NFL never sleeps, and they're paying everybody. We're back on the other side.
But it is great to be down here in T-Town, Alabama. Now, let's do a little history here, shall we? This is, what's your name?
Gabby.
Gabby, you're a senior here, right?
That's correct.
And what is your major?
Chemical engineering.
Okay. Okay, have you ever kicked anything before?
No.
Okay, but you said you want to do it, not get somebody else because?
Yes, because I camped out for so many hours with my friend, and I got lucky enough to get picked, so let's go for it.
Yes!
Yeah!
Yes!
All right.
We love that, Gabby.
Let's
$300,000 if you make this kick right here, Gabby, okay?
Oh my gosh.
That seems fair. I don't know what a chemical engineering degree costs, but hopefully that'll help towards it all.
My parents would love that.
Okay.
I'll throw in 200 as well.
He's throwing it to $500,000. All right, Gabby.
Okay.
Good luck. We're pulling for you. 33 yards. All you got to do is make the kick. Good luck, Gabby.
Okay. Thank you.
Any final thoughts?
I love you, Mom and Dad and brother.
Love that, Mom and Dad. Hope you have a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, Gabby Mathis, chemical engineer, senior here at Alabama, will attempt to win $500,000.
Oh, it's come to this, huh? It's come to this. It's come to this.
Gabby, why'd you smack me in the face? Kirk just smacked me in the face. How about this? How about this, Gabby? If Kirk Herbstreit can throw that football through those uprights right there, we'll give you $300,000. Are you okay with that? $300,000. If Kirk Herbstreit can throw it through those uprights, former Ohio State quarterback,
oh boy.
No warm-up, full suit for Gabby. Get Gabby, get Gabby, get Gabby. Congratulations, Gabby. All right. It's getting even more pricey. Kirk Herbstreit, I did not know you had that in you. You son of a bitch.
Oh, that's great.
Gabby, it's for you, your mom, your brother, the whole family. Congratulations, and Kirk. Good on you, man. It was close. Back to you, Reese. Jeez. Way to go, Gabby.
Hey, what a moment. You know, I love the fact that Gabby wanted the experience. You know, blue-eyed Buckeye still got a little sing in that arm of it.
Dudes getting rich, team seeking fits, the glamour and the glitz of the big money pit. Who's signing where? Why they go there? This will help us win. Every team swears. So welcome to the show. From the Thunderdome. Who's the next signing? We all want to know. Free agency, frenzy, dreaming with your spending, massive cash sending. Who's falling off and who is ascending?
Welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this lovely Monday, March 9th, better known as Frenzy. What a day, what a time. 2 hours in, there's already been over $1 billion in contracts given out to players who have earned it. Some for the first time in their life getting a bag that'll change the trajectory of their entire family. Some teams betting, not necessarily the farm just yet, but damn near everything they got on a couple different players to bring them a title hope and a title opportunity. It's not just me. The Talks the Tables here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Love that you wore your tuxedo t-shirt on this free agency frenzy day, Con Man.
Yeah, it felt that important. It is such a massive day, and there's still so many massive names as well. It's a very exciting time in the NFL world.
Let's go to one half of the hammer. Dahn. Cowboys, AP Tone. Has anything happened, any odds since any of these moves have been made thus far on the books?
No, to be honest with you, 100% honest, the odds have not moved. They moved a little bit this weekend when the Ravens traded for Max Crosby, but none of these moves today so far have changed. I mean, Linderbaum just happened. That may do something a little bit, probably not though, because it's the Raiders.
We shall see. That's rude to the Raiders. I like the moves that they're making. 9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler is here. It's not just us on the stage. We have Schefter breaking news in here. We also have Orlovsky and Schrags in the free agency fun zone over there. Boys, thank you so much for today. You've been absolutely killing it, but there is another Shefty tweet. Couple huge news here. Former Giants wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson has reached an agreement today with the Tennessee Titans, who have been spending money and have money. Remember, they brought in Jermaine Johnson in a trade over the weekend. Now they bring in Wan'Dale Robinson. Robinson will be reunited with Titans OC and his former Giants head coach, Brian Daboll. We see these connections. Harbaugh has brought some players from Baltimore up to the Giants. Now you're seeing all the ex-players of these coaches that are down in Tennessee maybe making the same moves. Let's head over to Schefter. Schefter, Wan'Dale Wandale Robinson was a name you were kind of chit-chatting about before the show. Now it's official. He's going to the Titans. They're making some moves down there in Music City.
Yeah, we got a few moves. We got Wandale Robinson. It's 4 years, $78 million, $38 million guaranteed.
Good deal.
With the Tennessee Titans. They paid up. And we also have Jahan Dotson, the Eagles wide receiver, now going to the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to put that out right now, Pat.
Okay, Jahan Dotson heading to the Atlanta Falcons. They've been making moves. The Atlanta Falcons allegedly in on Tua. They bring in a punter. They also bring in some other guys. And now Jahan Dotson, who's explosive and electrifying, heading down there. We also have another... Shefty tweet, former Jaguars running back Travis Etienne will be signing with the New Orleans Saints. He's from Louisiana, and it was important for him to be near home. He's a threat out of the backfield, both with his hands and his legs. Love what he was able to do this year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Finding a new home with Kelly Moe. You like it, D-Bud?
I love it. I love this. Another weapon for Tyler Shook. I'll be interested to see what they do with Alvin Kamara in the backfield, but this is a great weapon for him. He took a step up as far as receiving, and he's explosive. He's fast. He's still young. A lot of upside. I love this pick from this signing for them. I'm sorry.
The Broncos were allegedly in on ETN. He ends up going to the Saints. Let's head over to the free agency fun zone. ETN signing with the Saints. Obviously, another Wandale Robinson big deal made in Tennessee. Anything you're liking or want to expand upon, Schrags and Orlovsky over there in the fun zone? Hold on, you're muted. We need you back. Hold on, you're muted.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. We lost you. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Both of you. Hold on.
Man.
Hold on. Stand pat there, fun zone.
Just adding to the things you can do, special teams player right there, Pat McAfee, getting me the microphone here. I got another one here. Defensive tackle Kiris Tonga, who was a player on the Patriots Super Bowl team this year, is leaving New England to go to Kansas City on a 3-year deal, $21 million.
Good deal.
Will clog the defensive line. That has been done by David Cantor and Ness McGraby there over at Aura Sports. Those guys get that one done there. That is another one. But Wandale and Travis Etienne, Dan, are big ones. I think I'm going to pass the mic is what they say in the NC
that's smart.
world.
Pass the mic to Dano.
Okay, so a couple of things. Wandale down to Tennessee. Obviously, Cam Ward. Elik Eumanor, am I saying that last name right? Who's their rookie receiver? He led them in receptions yards last year with 513. So, they needed big time to add to the perimeter weapons. And Chig, their tight end, Okwanku, he's a free agent. And so you might be losing him, who is their second leading receiver. So I like the fact that Wandale's been added there. They got to get more out of Ridley. Because Wandale's really good, but Wandale's more of a slot. He's more of like an inside receiver. And so I do love the fact that he went there, but they're still going to need perimeter player on the outside down in Tennessee.
Yeah, Dan, I think what you're saying about the Tennessee Titans is they're continuing to build. And we're going to fix your microphone, so we'll get back to you here in a matter of moments.
Okay.
Okay, now they are working, it feels like.
I was just going to add, Pat, that the Giants knew this morning that Wandale was no longer going to be in New York. They already came to that conclusion, so they were already moving on to other options and seeing what else they could do because they knew the number would be that
Will
high.
they be looking at wide receiver? I know they've signed Isaiah Likely, but that's only likely. Neighbors coming off of the injury.
I think they're going to look to bring back a lot of their own guys now, and that's the job that they're going to be doing. So
We
I
like
feel like
our
Likely
guys.
was
Is that what you're saying? We think your microphones are working. We're not 100% sure. We're going to take you off the camera and test them. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, I was going to ask Stregs a question, but since we're taking off camera, I won't. But I'll.
No, you can. I think we can tell.
What is that? What is the ETN to New Orleans? Does that mean for Kamara? Could he be released? Could Kamara be traded? Because they're very, very similar back. They're very athletic. They're very shifty. They're good out of the backfield. Are they going to have two of those guys, or what's the situation with Kamara now in New Orleans?
No,
Lost it.
No, need the handheld.
I think what your instincts are right, Tone. I think that would be something where Kamara maybe, who has been a great Saint, just like Cameron Jordan and Demario Davis have been great Saints, it looks like it might be a window now to leave. You don't usually bring in a big free agent signing like ETN and then also keep a Kamara, but we will see what Kellen Moore wants to do.
Oh, Dano wants the mic. Dano, it could easily just not do what you're doing right now, but this better be good.
Kamara has the biggest cap hit in the NFL for running backs next season. I think over $18 million, only average 3.6 yards per carry. So the Saints have to figure out now with ETN there is the highest cap hit in the NFL.
is that going to be worth it with 3.6?
Oh, Schraeg's got ideas.
Mike, let's go. I would add this. Jacksonville is now in the market for running back. Obviously, this is how this works. And those two players, Kenneth Walker and Etienne, were never going to be a part of this. Who can Jacksonville get now at a discounted price? Maybe not that number. But yes, the Jaguars, remember, they were a wild card team, almost beat the Bills. They're going to be looking to bring in another free agent running back. Be watching.
At the running back position, obviously, Breece Hall was tagged, I believe, right?
Yep.
Kenneth Walker, he's gone. Etienne, he's gone. Javonte Williams, Rashad White, Rico Dowdle, Isaiah Pacheco, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, Tyler Algier, he's gone. Kenneth Gainwell, he's gone.
Dobbins would be a name I would watch. I think he would work in that offense, and I know there might be some contact, but I wouldn't say it's a done deal by any means, but that might be the name that it's more of an affordable thing than an ETN.
Okay, we appreciate that out of the free agency fun zone as we try to fix your guys' microphones. You guys, actually kind of good little gimmick.
Yeah,
I got something.
Yeah.
So, Dan, it better be good, Dan.
Give it back. Give it back.
Better be good, Dan. We appreciate them doing that in dodge, duck, dip diving, and dodging their way through it. We speak about Breece Hall because he got franchise tagged. He obviously is on the Jets. He put a tweet out that said, damn, we sure got a lot of money in Florida. Borrow all these contracts the dudes are signing. Obviously couldn't come to terms on a long-term deal before the franchise tag deadline. How do you feel about these guys getting signed right now? The running backs may be having a little bit of a run.
A little bit of a resurgence. I like it. I always like I'm a fan of running back by committee. Like Schraeg said, though, when you're bringing a guy like Etienne, you're probably going to get rid of a guy like Kamara with that big number. But I still like running back by committee. I think it's fresher. I know as a defender, it's nothing worse than seeing some fresh legs jog on the field after another guy's giving you 7-8 plays. We saw it work with Sonic and Knuckles for some years out in Detroit. I know that pair got broken up.
They were saying ass and cheeks there for a
They
while.
were saying that. We know with MCDC taking over the play call, and we'll see how that all works out. But I love what's happening with these running backs kind of getting their time to shine again.
It feels like Christian McCaffrey, they're going to run how he goes. Saquon Barkley a couple years ago, they're going to go how they go. It does feel Kenneth Walker wins the Super Bowl MVP. It's like, yeah, Bijan Robinson obviously up there. But I'm just saying the successful teams have had an elite running back.
Yeah.
So that is good news for the running back market. Remember a couple years ago, they were saying that the NFL was basically the running backs needed to create a union because the NFL was holding them back. I think just at that time of the game, there was kind of a weird phase where the running back position wasn't necessarily as important as it once was. We are back now at the position where the running back needs to be good. Not only do you need a good offensive line, obviously, to be able to protect your quarterback, but if that running back can turn a 3-yard gain into an 8-yard gain or a 10-yard gain or hell, 50-yard gain, that helps your team out so much, especially in this stagnant football that's currently happening with how good defenses have become. So good for the running back world getting some money. Saints are giving Travis Etienne 4 years, $52 million.
Wow.
Congratulations, Etienne. That's awesome. Out of Clemson, obviously, a stud gets 52 over 4. We don't know what the guarantees are, but we're certainly happy for him for that. You need a running back. That is just very, very apparent at this stage, Con Man.
Yeah, even in the draft, you can make the argument. I forget when it was. Maybe it was Breece Hall's year where there wasn't a first-round running back, and that was kind of shocking. Is it not kind of odd because of this conversation just about the running backs, how none of the guards, really none of the tackles, aside from Linderbaum, really none of the centers, none of the linemen on the offensive side of the ball, it feels like, have been picked up whatsoever, and there's still a bunch out there. Do you think maybe over these next couple hours, now that some of these other skill positions, maybe the offensive line starts to eat a little bit? It's just kind of shocking.
That's a good question, actually, to go to Splash for the Saints. They are signing former Bills guard David Edwards.
There you go. All
right.
Rappaport. But on that note, I do wonder if they were all waiting for Linderbaum. You know, like, and this is going to sound incredibly arrogant, and I do apologize for that, but my name is on the show, and I try to speak from my own perspective. Whenever I was potentially going to go on to become a free agent, there were other punters that were about to become a free agent that called me and said, like, hey, when do you know what you're going to do? And I said, it got bad today with the negotiations. I think I'll be out there. But yeah, I don't want to, I would like to make my decision. It was pretty cool to hear, like, hey, we're probably waiting on you to kind of set and figure out what's going on. Felt like Linderbaum was probably that for the interior offensive lineman. How big can this deal go?
Yeah.
Some of these guys are potentially looking at it. Once he goes off the board, that's kind of where the domino effect kind of rolls in. Now we got guard David Edwards going down to the Saints, and the Saints are spending money. They never have money, seemingly.
No.
But then they spend it. I don't know how they do it. They're like a credit union down there. They're always getting the money up front somehow. I don't know how they're paying it on the back end, but Call me now. I love everything about what they're doing down there.
Yeah, they were the big, like, hey, we're just going to kick the can down the road team for the last several years. We've done this, and that was kind of always the conversation. Like, well, you're going to reach that can at some point, and maybe with Drew Brees off the books and they have a rookie quarterback, like, it is now they can finally kind of start to do that. But it is kind of crazy how they seem like they are in cap hell each
All
and every
the time.
year, and they still have money to give, a running back $53 million.
Hey, Mickey Loomis is down there smacking his gums.
Oh, yeah.
And signing these checks. That might have been the worst couth I've ever seen at a press conference. Just directly into a microphone, chewing gum 1,000 times a minute. I mean, that was certainly something that made me judge him immediately. But on that note, they somehow always are over and somehow always paying.
Yep.
So I like it. They move on from Demario Davis, Cam Jordan also on his way out. Tyler Shuck comes in there. Kelly Moe is the head coach, a young head coach. Maybe the Saints are kind of working in the right direction too. That's what money can do. Money invested in your team can give people hope that you're going to not be ass. Adam Schefter now reporting that the former Bills guard David Edwards is signing a 4-year, $61 million deal with the Saints. Congrats to David Edwards. Congrats to the Saints making plays. Let's head over to Schefter right now. Saints spending money. How are they always able to do that when it looks like they always are negative whenever it comes to the salary cap, Shefty?
Well, they are amazing how they continually do this. Hold on, we got a deal here that's coming up here. A couple of things. Just looking for the actual thing here. Hold on, give me one moment.
I need to find their at. Okay, at isn't their name, so I got to figure it out. They got an underscore in there where it shouldn't be.
Okay, so here we go. Okay,
we found it. Yes. All right, and let's make sure we get it right. This better be a good one. And
yeah, it's pretty good. It's the Raiders signing former Vikings wide receiver Jalen Naylor to a 3-year, $35 million deal, $23 million guaranteed.
That feels like a big deal out of Raiders. Raiders continue to spend money. That's an incredible move for them. Yeah. Saints also spending money.
Yeah, the Saints get David Edwards done. That's a big deal for them. They get Travis Etienne done. So that. What was the money here? The money came in on Travis. It was 4 years, $52 million, I believe.
Yep.
4 years, $52 million for Travis Etienne to go to New Orleans. He's from Louisiana, wanted to be there. They have Alvin Kamara. So now you have to wonder, what happens with Alvin Kamara? Do they keep him? Do they restructure him here? What happens? Does he become a trade chip in this particular situation? We don't know exactly how that's going to play out. But Travis Etienne is a big-time player, and he's signing with the New Orleans Saints, who also have added a mauling-type guard in David Edwards.
How do they continue to do this? You were starting there, and then you're breaking news. They're always over the cap, but they're somehow always active. I love it. I'm not saying.
You know what? It's just like the person who's on their credit card bill. You keep charging every month. You charge every month. You charge every month. You push it out. You keep pushing it out. Eventually, you got to keep paying. But they are amazing like that. They are wonders, whiz-kid wonders with the cap. And they're doing it again here with David Edwards, Travis Etienne.
Yeah, I like that they're spenders here on day one. Let's head over to the free agency fund zone. Your thoughts on the last two deals that have been announced over there? Obviously, not only Etienne, but also the deal that he just announced headed to the
Raiders.
Raiders, yeah, it was Jalen Naylor headed to the Raiders. How do you feel about everything going on right now, Shrey?
Well, when Addison was sidelined, obviously, with the suspension, Naylor stepped up and had a fantastic couple of weeks with the Minnesota Vikings. So he made himself some money today, and the Raiders obviously are going to be desperate to add offensive talent all over the field. I would add this about the Saints. Mickey Loomis is what you call a G. He's one of the first dudes to be doing this, and he is the guy that just knows this cap, knows this league, and knows how to do it under the guise of obscurity. We never talk about Mickey Loomis, but with Jeff Ireland, and of course Kai Hartley on that front office, they have a loaded front office that's been doing this for years. They are cap geniuses there in New Orleans. So don't worry about how they'll get it done, how they'll figure it out, and when they'll pay the piper. In the same week, they lost Demario Davis. They lost Cam Jordan. Money's going to be coming off, and they will add it here with these ones. But they got younger and better today. The New Orleans Saints, to me, are winners after one day of free agency.
Okay, so a couple thoughts on the last 4 or 5 deals. One, Linderbaum going to the Raiders leaves massive holes in Baltimore on the inside, both guards and now center. Okay, so that's the starting point. The second thing is David Edwards leaving the Bills. That's a significant loss. The Bills had one of the, if not the best offensive lines in football last year. That's a big loss for Buffalo at the guard position. Jalen Naylor going to the Raiders. Really good receiver. Has developed as the number 3 guy with Justin Jefferson there and Jordan Addison there. He's going to become really stepping into probably the number 2 wide receiver role with the Las Vegas Raiders. You add Brock Bowers there. Tucker's still there as a speedster. That's a good signing for the Raiders given the youth of their offense. The Saints are interesting. The Saints right now, clearly believe that Tyler Shuck is their future. The interior of their offensive line was a very poor unit last year. Them getting Edwards is a big deal. I'll be interested to see what they do with Olave. Olave going into the potential fifth-year option. They haven't signed him to a contract extension yet, correct? No. So I think the Saints right now are sitting there trying to rebuild this football team in many ways around Tyler Shuck. That's David Edwards there. So there's a lot of butterfly effect going. And probably the biggest thing now is the Chiefs at 9 have signed a running back, and the Saints at 8 have signed a running back with big money. What does this mean for Jeremiah Love in the NFL draft? And pay attention to Washington.
Also, NFC South has kind of been crap the last few years. Now you have the Panthers, you have a Buccaneers team that's still in it with Baker, you have a Saints team that's emerging, and obviously you look around in the Falcons, what they are. They have all that talent on the roster. So all these teams are spending. It looks like this division is up for grabs. Carolina won it this year, but the Saints clearly aren't waving a white flag on this season.
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers are saying we need to get better as well. Yeah. We love what the NFC South is doing because, you're right. Everybody's mocking the NFC South.
Yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the NFC South is such shite. Boy, everybody's ass down there. They heard it loud and clear. Mickey started bumping his gums with that gum in his mouth and said, we need to make some plays. We'll certainly do that. Congrats to the NFC South getting better seemingly on first day of free agency frenzy, and then a deal that happened in the NFC East that we didn't get to talk about enough. Jahan Dotson is a huge deal. He's reached an agreement with with the Falcons on a 2-year, $15 million deal up to $17 million, $10 million fully guaranteed. He's a weapon for sure. Mm-hmm. Atlanta Falcons making plays as well. This NFC South continues to cook, Conman.
Yeah, pretty incredible, especially for Stefanski bringing a guy in. We're going to just slot Tua Tagovailoa to be their quarterback there this year. We can just run away with that, and Jahan Dotson is one of their guys. It feels like that is a very interesting thing. I think the Falcons just might implode on themselves, which would be kind of cool.
You're saying first day of free agency frenzy?
I'm just saying it's kind of crazy to see the trajectory of some of these teams. Like coming into today, I wasn't thinking Tua is going to be the quarterback, and then right before we went live, that just kind of blew my mind a little. But then again, you just assume Stefanski just has free reign, just like Cleveland, because he didn't draft Penix, and Tua will probably be a 1-year deal. It's crazy.
So looking at the NFC South divisional odds there, the Panthers are last.
Makes
the team that just won it and won. That's a good football team.
We had one of those. We had one of these last week on the show. Whenever we found out that the Dominican Republic was only favored by 4.5,
correct,
and we immediately were like, okay, let's make sure we go ahead and hit. By the way,
they did.
We did hit that, obviously. Sometimes we see things on this particular show pop up, and we go, wait a minute, we need a second look at that. Panthers are a good football team.
It's a good football team.
Panthers are a good football team.
Adam Phillips.
Jalen Phillips gets added into a litany of dogs down there in Carolina. Hold the phone now. Plus 425 doesn't sound that bad at all, Tone Dude.
No, it doesn't. And I'm shocked that the Bucs are like so far ahead of the other teams. I just thought that whole group would be a lot closer together, and the Saints would probably be in last because of what they have done.
Where's Mike Evans?
Good question.
That's a great question.
I was promised he was going to be done in the first hour.
12:01.
Yeah, 12:01 maybe we were told that. So what could potentially be happening? Is there a little bit of confliction? Let's go to the free agency fun zone. Hey, Shregs.
Yeah.
I thought First Ballot Hall of Famer was making his decision today. What, have your phone lied to you?
What to tell you, though, this is the beauty of today. You put out a sprinkle like that, and that's what I was given the impression of, that he was going to be signing somewhere. Well, Tampa Bay is not going to go without a fight. This could be what's happening right now, where he is looking at multiple teams and he might be having second thoughts. But I was told to expect Mike Evans to announce his team early in the day. We are now entering hour 3. I have the same cadence as Adam Schefter right now. I feel like I'm embodying him. We have to watch. We have to see. But the truth of the matter is this. Tampa Bay wasn't going to go out without a fight. They love this guy. That is a franchise player, wall of honor type deal, raise the flags, the whole thing. They weren't going to go out without a fight, and I believe that might be at play right now.
Huge news here. Okay, Albert Breer is reporting that word was Mike Evans' camp has told teams that he had a 1-year, $27 million offer from someone. Whether or not that's actually the case, we'll see. Greg Oman also on the reporting of that. Maybe we had to hear into the Schefter zone to hear what he has heard about the information surrounding Mike Evans and where his future is. Shefty, I don't know if you saw that out of Albert Breer, talking about a $27 million 1-year offer from Mike Evans. Do we know what Mike Evans is kind of pondering right now, or what's kind of taking place?
I still think he's going to wind up leaving Tampa in the end. There's no official word on that. And again, as Peter said, these things go back and forth. Now, he will be talking and has been talking to teams. And sometimes you think that you're further along on a deal, and then all of a sudden players come back for more things or teams pull back something else. And I think that's what's going on with Mike Evans, right? Before he leaves Tampa, he wants to make sure that it's for what he wants, enough to get him out of Tampa. Now, last time, he was ready to move on from Tampa, and my understanding was people in his family stepped in and were like, let's stay in Tampa. And that's what happens. Every year we see people reach agreements, and then sometimes people don't get those agreements followed up and signed. So, again, I still think ultimately he's going to wind up leaving Tampa. That's my sense. But this is still playing out. The negotiations still are going on, and we have to see ultimately where it ends up.
Wow, I'm telling you, Anzalone said, I'm not leaving Tampa.
Yep.
Mike Evans' family heard the things, were like, we're not leaving Tampa.
Yeah.
Sounds like Tampa's an incredible city, and obviously Mike Evans has had a lot of success. But if that number, $27 million, do you think that, why are people floating that number out there? Because Albert Breer, we know, knows some people. Do we think that's a tactic, or do you think there's a near $30 million one-year deal for fucking Mike Evans right now? That's an incredible offer.
All I could say is somebody told him that, and maybe the deal will be coming close to that. I don't know any numbers on a Mike Evans deal because I don't think there's any Mike Evans deal that's done right now.
Okay, so you're saying could be, but it is not what you have heard. Go ahead.
I haven't heard anything.
Shefty, I know it's the first year for it. I haven't seen any reporting on it. Are you hearing from teams like, yeah, we used one of our 5 one-hour Zoom calls on this player? Are you getting any of those today?
We're 2.5 hours in almost. This is such a scramble. Like, I don't know anybody that's setting up a Zoom call, sitting down in the midst of these crazy negotiations and punters flying off the shelf.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm talking about, Shefty. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you got teams wheeling and dealing. I don't think that anybody's sitting in to schedule a video. There might be a certain case where if there's a question about somebody the team has, you want to get that guy on the phone or a Zoom call. You have the liberty to do that, but I'm unaware of that.
Hey, heard you had nobody at your birthday party. You need to talk about that. You need to understand what's going on. We appreciate you, Shefty.
Okay.
The thought of a $27 million, $30 million offer to Mike Evans for 1 year. What was Fitz's deal? $11 million every year if he just wanted to sign up for it? Remember that?
Yeah.
It was like $11 million.
3 straight years.
But it was also, I think, just like available.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you want to play another year, this is fully guaranteed.
Respectable
It is available for you. It was $11 million at the time. You know, it's a little bit different. I think Mike Evans had something similar. It is kind of how we all viewed it. Like, hey, if he wants to be at Tampa, it's going to be this. Then he gets a chance to hear what other teams think about him for the first time, long time. And it's like everybody in Tampa sees him as a one-helmet guy. I think his family is potentially like, hey, not only one helmet, this is beautiful.
Yeah, our house is awesome.
This place is unbelievable. We're heroes here. We've done it all here. And then you hear from another team that's like, hey, just want to let you know, we'd be willing to, we need you. Okay, Tampa, maybe Tampa doesn't understand that they need you. We need you. $27 million for 1 year?
Steep.
I think that's a huge. Khalil Mack just signed for $18 million for 1 year with the Chargers. I assume he was pumped to stay in LA. I assume the Chargers were pumped to have him. Jim Harbaugh, one of his first things he did as a head coach for the Chargers was on our show telling Joe Ortiz, slapping him on the thigh like Steve Ballmer did in that one gif. And he goes, hey, need to sign Khalil. Need to sign Khalil. That is a guy that can't leave here. Then he talked to strength coach Herb, and he's like, we need to keep him. So they make a deal happen for him. $18 million, keep him here. Everybody's happy. It's like, is that what teams are trying to do to Mike Evans right now? $28 million guaranteed 1 year. You just come in for 6-7 months. I mean, that's a good thing. That's a good position to be in.
Absolutely.
But also, that's a tough decision to make whenever you have been a Tampa guy your entire career.
I am. I know we saw the reports. I am interested to know what the real market is for him. And we thought, hey, maybe he gets the Larry Fitzgerald treatment. He's a one-helmet guy, Ring of Honor, greatest receiver in their franchise history. I'm not sure, but these are the tough decisions that the front office has to make because they have a lot of young talent in there when it comes to wide receiver. Godwin will be the OG if Mike Evans leaves, but you got Ibuka who could emerge and kind of be that next number one guy. You got McMillan who they drafted who showed some promise. Obviously brought Otten back at the tight end position. So we shall see. It's a tough decision for them to make. I would love to see him finish his career in Tampa, but we know business has to be done.
So we heard maybe the Mike Evans deal gets done early. You know what happened early was Alec Pierce signed, and maybe he saw Alec Pierce's number and said, "Oh, I'm going to need more than that." So
yeah, because they're similar styles of play.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and he's done it for 10 years.
1,000 yards for 11 straight years or something like that. I forget the number with how many different quarterbacks. And then he sees Alec Pierce, who's the deep threat guy.
Correct.
Okay, he becomes the highest free agent paid wide receiver in the history of football or whatever it is.
Knows.
Mike Evans just goes, milk check. Oh, what is going on here? And then potentially they renegotiate. Or maybe Mike Evans already had his deal. He respects Alec Pierce. We all respect Alec Pierce. I'm not saying that that's not the case. But maybe Mike Evans' agents go, oh, there's a whole new market potentially that we need to look in. There's so many games that could take place. There's so many games that legitimately could be taking place.
It could, but you know it, where you are in your career, and we know that, Mike knows as well. I'm sure I don't want to speak for him, but that's Alec Pierce's, first bite at the apple. He's the top guy in line when it comes to free agency. He's a young guy in his prime. I'm sure Mike just wants a deal that he can be comfortable with sitting. And then, like you said, you've been in the place for a long, long time. It is tough to leave, and if you do leave, it's a short number. Like, you're not going to a rebuild situation. You're going to a team, Dano mentioned, Schrags mentioned, a quarterback, and somebody that probably in that top 1 or 2 lines when it comes to Super Bowl odds going into this next season.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Do you think it's safe to assume that one of these teams that has a bunch of cap space that is absolute shite is maybe a team that's offered him 27? He's like, hey, that's nice, but I'm not signing up.
Like the Raiders.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I'm not signing up to do the Devontae Adams thing where I think the grass
Tom
is
Brady
greener.
knows Mike. Oh, my God.
Well, yeah.
Tom Brady going to Fernando, if he had a Mike Evans.
Did say
that's all I need.
That would be. Let's go to the free agency fun zone. Schrags, is that the team that just been kind of sitting there that we haven't even thought about? The owner of the team won a Super Bowl with the guy, and boy, we have the money, and a rookie quarterback's best friend could be a guy that could take a top off of a defense. Is that something that we haven't maybe chatted about, Schrags, and are we far off in that world?
I think we're going to find out Mike Evans shortly, and I'm going to tell you this. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers believe they are no longer in it for Mike Evans. So they had made a strong offer, and it seems like Evans' representatives have said, we love you, we love how this has been, but it looks like Mike Evans will be moving on. I don't have the team yet. We should know shortly.
Dan, are you okay, bud?
That's a big move. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's been there forever.
They wanted him.
Yeah, I think
not enough, Schrags.
Okay, but now it's where. So I'll go back to this. My brain goes to San Francisco. My brain goes to the Rams. My brain goes to the Bills or the Ravens. If you're Mike Evans and you're willing to leave a place that you have made a Hall of Fame name on the field and an unbelievable name off the field, it's got to be for more than just cash. It's got to be for a place that you think quarterback's legit. This isn't going to be a problem where I'm not getting the football thrown to me or at the right place. Also a team that's got a chance to win the Super Bowl. So
I've got a breaking news one in Tone Diggs. You might really like this one.
Shut up.
The Steelers have agreed to a deal with cornerback Jamel Dean, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Beautiful.
3 years, $36.5 million. Eric Burkhart, Rock Nation Sports, will be the agent on that one. But the Steelers, in acquisition mode, Jamel Dean, the corner from Tampa Bay, who has had a Super Bowl career with them as well. So we're talking Mike Evans. But here we go, breaking news, the Schefter tweet, I just got here. Jamel Dean going to the Steelers.
Thank you for that. Congrats to the Steelers on another big signing in the corner. They brought in a wide receiver as well. They brought in Pittman, renegotiated his deal for $59 million. Now they bring in a corner. Steelers very active. Tampa very active. Mike Evans still sitting there open. Steelers fan feels like what with this deal?
Feel really, really good. This was one of the positions of need. You have Joey Porter Jr., who came into his own this year, was one of the best in the league. You signed Asante Samuel Jr. After the injury last year. You signed him to a 1-year deal this morning, kind of on a prove it deal for about $5 million. So this is just another piece to shore up the secondary. So now as far as the defense goes, the D-line's good, linebackers solid, secondary with Dean and Joey Porter Jr., and then the safety. Figure that out. Whoa!
Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, it has happened. Mike Evans is expected to sign a 3-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers. Just moments after Shrake said, hey, this Evans deal is coming soon. And he believes that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now out of the conversation for Mike Evans. Adam Schefter says, while you're saying that, Shregs, let me actually tell you what's happening. The Niners now have a first ballot Hall of Famer, a man who has been able to accomplish great things no matter who's playing quarterback, has won a Super Bowl, has experienced the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from the top all the way down at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Now he's heading to San Francisco with a litany of weapons and an offense with Brock Purdy guiding it that can certainly put up ridiculous numbers. Him now going deep down the field for Shanahan and Purdy. Good night. Maybe the Niners make a run at this thing. Let's go into the free agency frenzy zone with the man who put that tweet out. Shefty, what's the deal? How do we get here, pal?
Well, the Niners have needed help at wide receiver. Look, they're moving on from Brandon Ayuk this offseason. Everybody knows that. They have a situation where Deebo Samuel left last year. So really, Ricky Pearsall is their proven wide receiver. They wanted a veteran presence out there. Mike Evans was interested in leaving Tampa for a variety of factors. And at the Combine, the word on the street all along was that he was interested in leaving. Now, he lives in Houston during the offseason. A lot of people thought initially maybe the Texans. But the Niners are the team that was interested in him. And they were talking today. And I think the hang-up, as we alluded to before, was they were coming together on a deal, and then there was a hiccup like, whoa, hold on. We thought you could do this, or we thought you could do that. And they had to work through that. Now, it's going to be a 3-year deal. It's really a shorter-term deal than that, but it's going to be called a 3-year deal for cap purposes. And this is an emotional departure for both Mike Evans and the Buccaneers. This was the very first draft pick that the Buccaneers general manager Jason Light made in Tampa. Mike Evans is going to be in their Ring of Fame. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He is an elite wide receiver. For him to leave an organization like that, he just felt like he wanted to try something else, wanted to be in a different offensive system, wanted to see what life was like elsewhere. And so he now will finish his career in San Francisco as a focal part of their offense. The 49ers were in the market for a wide receiver, Mike Evans, to the 49ers on a 3-year deal.
A lot of turnover in Tampa Bay at the offensive coordinator role. Obviously, Baker Mayfield now has been his quarterback for the last couple of years. Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, the list goes on and on. He'll go out there with Kyle Shanahan's offense and Brock Purdy ready to slice and dice. I'm excited to see what Shanahan does with him. I think he's probably pretty excited as well. Let's head over to the free agency fun zone. Schrags thought the deal was coming quick and said maybe a sleeper team. I think we brought up the Niners, but still didn't necessarily expect it. Why did they make this play, Schrags? And what does this mean, Orlovsky?
That was so fun, and that is why we do this thing in real time.
Come on.
I was hearing that the Buccaneers were out. Well, why were they out? Because seconds later, we find out that the 49ers had closed the deal. I can't stress it enough, and Adam's done it, and I know at home you'll be rolling your eyes. The sentimental connection between Mike Evans and that franchise is so strong, stronger than what Brady had with them, stronger than what Gronk had. This is a guy who's been there all these years, ups and downs, and is now finally leaving. And it was like, if you love someone, you let them go. And at some point, the Buccaneers said, you know what? If we're going to make an end, okay, go on and explore other options. Derek Gilmore is the agent. He's been with them all along. They worked the deal out, and there were many other interested parties. But 3 years they get on Mike Evans, and he goes to the 49ers, who, yes, were eliminated from the playoffs in a divisional round, but were so injured last year down the stretch. He believes he can still win and still make that top dollar money with the 49ers. I like the fit, but of course it's free agency frenzy on a Monday. I like all the fits.
I love the fit for San Francisco. I love the fit for San Francisco. San Francisco, McCaffrey, and as great as CMC is, he led them in basically every offensive category this year, or this past season. Too much of a burden on that football player. So now Mike comes there, Pearsall there. They're probably going to lose Juwan Jennings, who's their dog at wide receiver, do-it-all type of guy. So now Mike is back. Last year's the first year that Mike didn't have 1,000 yards receiving, and I think 11 seasons. And that's because of injury. It wasn't because he can't play anymore. And so I love the fit in that regard. For Tampa's perspective, it's their own fault in a good way. It's because all they do is draft good players. They've drafted McMillan. They've drafted Egbuka. They drafted Tez Johnson. And so they've got these other young players that are really talented that make it, I don't want to say easier, but you can justify not overspending for Mike in this situation because you've got people in the waiting. And so, dude, I knew teams that wanted to get in on Mike Evans. I know the Bills wanted in Mike Evans. I know the Rams wanted in on Mike Evans. I know that the 49ers wanted in Mike Evans. So I think it's an outstanding signing. And think of Mike Evans down in the red zone with Kyle Shanahan, who's one of the great red zone game plan design guys in the history of the league.
Schrags, what's that number going to look like quickly?
I would think it'll be north of 25 a year. I mean, that's the numbers that he's demanding, and that's a guy that
good for him.
With this salary cap the way it is, that is something that he can guarantee. I mean, hey, look, they're going to be obviously moving on from Ayuk. They left. The Debo's gone from last year, and Juwan Jennings is a free agent. So there is room to spend. And you say Ricky Pearsall at one wide receiver. You throw this guy on as a second.
Kittle comes back.
Caleb comes, and obviously you get Kittle back. You get Juszczyk back. You suddenly put this thing together, and it's like, all right, 49ers in a wide open NFC. We talk about the Rams and the Seahawks. All right, how about Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers still planting their flag and saying, we're not going anywhere yet?
And especially with Mike Evans, D-But, what does it look like in a Shanahan offense with Mike Evans? How do you think he is used? Because, we got a lot of hey, we need you to do exact stuff. Or whereas Evans there to go ahead and take one of the safeties out of the box so everything else can open up. How does he directly affect everything else going on whenever you're trying to game plan this Niners team?
Yeah, when you talk to defensive coaches or defensive players, they'll tell you Kyle Shanahan probably puts the most problems in front of him as far as game planning and calling plays. But at some point, it comes down to the players and the mismatches. And Mike Evans, we all talked about an all-time great, over 13,000 yards, over 100 touchdowns. He's going to be a mismatch as long as he's lacing them up, especially when you get down in that red area. Like, he's not going to be separating from guys like he used to. He can still run, and you throw that ball up, and it's a rebound. So you have different guys on that offense that can create mismatches, whether it's the fullback with Juice, whether it's Kittle when he's healthy. C-Mac, he's a mismatch for anyone that's guarding him. So now whoever they draft or whoever they bring in on part of that wide receiver core, they can sit in a room and learn from Mike Evans week in and week out, because you don't have just these guys, falling out of the sky.
Can he still play?
I think he can still go, because the type of guy that he is, the body that he has, like I said, he's not a guy who's going to be taking the top off of defense like he did 5 or 6 years ago, but even when he's covered, he's not.
I love what's happening. Linderbaum goes.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans goes.
What?
We're trying to update the amount of money that has been spent so far in these 14 and a half hours of free agency frenzy. It's over $1.4 billion in contracts. What a day for the boys.
Unbelievable.
Hey, way to go, boys. I think that says something about the health of a league, obviously, whenever you're able to give that amount of contracts out in 14 and a half hours. And we're not even anywhere near when these contracts are allowed to be, actually officialized. That's on Wednesday. We are currently just in a place where it's like, this is the deal that's being done. And it wasn't like this always. Schefter actually drove for this particular era to happen for the NFL schedule, because it was happening, but nobody was talking about it. And then the NFL opens up a tampering period. Then there's a pre-tampering period that's allowed. And it's like, was it even tampering then if you're legalizing it? It's almost like first convo, second convo, deal, and then official season. They're like, yeah, whatever, tampering, whatever the case.
Yeah.
So that is what this is. So these deals can't go into effect until Wednesday, and I guess there could be some bad faith stuff that could happen until then. But already over $1.4 billion with 2.5 more days still of free agency money being talked about is an absurd thing and good for all.
Okay.
There is more. Former Browns linebacker Devin Bush reached agreement today on a 3-year, $30 million deal that includes $21 million guaranteed with the Chicago Bears, per agent Drew Rosenhaus. Listen, they were good at the beginning of the season. Then they got better. They're looking to become the best, okay? And they'll never let it rest until that good becomes better, which it has, and then their better becomes their best. And that's Ben Johnson football, baby, in a nutshell. 3 years, $21 million guaranteed for Devin Bush. Feels like a good deal for him. How big was the market? Tone, what's up, bud?
So he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers as a top 15 pick. The Steelers moved up to draft him. It didn't work out there. He bounced around a bit, had his best season by far last year with the Browns, playing next to Carson Schlesinger, who won Defensive Player of the Year. Devin Bush played really, really good last year. And then on the Bears side, they're letting Edmonds walk. So he just kind of fills in right for them. It's a really good fit for them.
Great deal, too.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You just talked about it not working out.
It did not.
He could have easily been written off. So kudos to him fighting back. A Michigan man, a South Florida guy as well. So a lot of, I guess, ties in this building. I'm glad. I'm really happy to see this deal for Devin Bush, and I think it'll be great for the Bears as well, because they struggled from a linebacker standpoint. Had a lot of injuries in that position. You mentioned Edmonds moving on. Great pick for him.
Yeah, you're talking about Michigan man. Let's go to another Michigan man on maybe the deets. How many teams were in on Devin Bush? Let's go to Adam Schefter. Shefty, what are we hearing about the Devin Bush deal now making him a Chicago Bear?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The Cleveland Browns were interested in bringing him back, and the Chicago Bears have been looking to upgrade their linebackers. I think this is a breakthrough in the linebacker market. If we look at some of the linebackers that are out there right now, Pat, you're going to start to see some movement on some of these guys right now. Guys like Quay Walker, Devin Lloyd, Nakobe Dean, Leo Chanel, Caden Ellis. A lot of good linebackers still out there. Alex Singleton, Bobby Wagner. So I think this is going to help break up some of the logjam. Again, 2.5 hours in. But we're used to so much activity at this point in time. But the Bears wanted to add a linebacker. They identified Devin Bush, and now they have reached agreement with him on that deal.
$1.4 billion, $30 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Good math there.
Well done. Thank you. I'd had to get the proper comma. Let's go over to the free agency fun zone. Schrags and Orlovsky, any thoughts on Devin Bush going to the Bears? And how about the Bears immediately becoming a team that I think, good decision. Wouldn't have thought that a couple years ago. Now with Poles and Ben Johnson, there's already immediate credibility because of success.
I will say this. The Cleveland Browns wanted Devin Bush back. So that is a great signing by the Chicago Bears to not only pay him the money, but to recruit him and to get him over there to that defense. Devin Bush, like Tone said, wasn't the first round pick necessarily for the Steelers they had hoped after that first year, but last year completely rebuilt his career. If you're a Bears fan, you're like, Devin Bush, father played in the NFL, and last year was an excellent linebacker for the Cleveland Browns, so much so that they thought he was going to be a core piece of this defense if they could bring him back. They couldn't retain him. He now goes to the Chicago Bears. I think it's a great signing.
Schrags, what's on deck real quick, Schrags? What's on deck, you think, in your mind, if you had to project like you did before with Mike Evans? That was beautiful, by the way.
That was really
well
good
done,
TV.
everyone.
That was good TV to the second. That was fun. That was good. Shefty with the home run at the end, getting the team in the time.
Hey, that's USA Baseball.
That's right. That was it, beautiful. That was good. Honestly, I'm very curious to see, and I think Shefty mentioned this, when you start talking about that linebacker group, and Devin Bush goes, that's of course, but this is a really good group of linebackers this year with Devin Lloyd, Quay Walker, and we know Caden Ellis and Nakobe Dean are on the board. All of those guys, we've already seen a couple go with Anzalone and Bush, but those are the names that I'm watching. Not as sexy maybe as the quarterbacks, but when you have the linebacker play and some big names, who's going to start going now that we've got two off the board?
Go ahead, Dan. Oh, sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah, you're good. It's also kind of the age of football right now in the NFL. Years ago, you would have never imagined someone within the first hour of free agency hitting, how much did Kenneth Walker get? 40 million? 30 plus million?
Yeah.
Signing a running back to 30 plus million. ETN going north of 50. Linebackers for going for 30.
Linderbaum.
Yeah, so it's just like kind of, I agree. The linebackers are kind of the guys that are next. But I still sit there and I go, okay, where are these agreements going to come with some of these receivers that are still out there now that the Mike Evans edition has been signed? Some of the tight ends that are out there now that the Mike Evans edition has been signed. And speaking of Devin Bush, so the Bears jumped on Dahlman retirement, replacing with Bradbury, and they're not the same player, but they don't hesitate. Then they go sign Kobe Bryant as a safety to start free agency, which was a very big deal. Now you get Devin Bush. The Bears just seem to, I agree with you, Pat, like they're just making decisions that aren't, oh my gosh, and then, it falls flat. It seems like very calculated.
That's good call.
Yeah, well said.
Holy shit. That's that Emmy right there.
Yeah.
I just saw it.
Yep.
Did you see it?
I heard it.
Yeah, because like the way you said it, it just painted a picture in my mind because I thought of people going, oh my God. And it was like such a good descriptor. Thank you, Dan.
Dan's been killing it, Pat. He's been killing it.
Dan. What we're saying is, it's been good signings, even though we're not saying,
oh
my God. Yeah.
Hey, one name, Pat, that I think is interesting. I'll take it from here. I got it.
They just shoot it off of him.
He's a good teammate.
All quiet on the Midwestern front with our guy Trey Hendrickson.
Nice. Yeah,
so I'm curious to see where he goes, if there's any action. I think
that's good.
I think we'll see. But you like that? That was a reference to the literary world. I bring that. I'm a little bit of a highbrow guy.
Yeah, I respect that. We need that. We've been able to feel it in here.
Your
aura.
I smell it.
Is that what you smell over there? That's crazy.
It is not what I smell.
Okay, Dano's been smelling a little bit too much of it.
It might be attached to some of the things I've said.
Yeah, Dano might be floating over there at the free agency fund.
You also would love this. We have a peripheral view of Adam Schefter, and he's just pacing like a madman. It is so fun to watch this from my angle. He's just going, pacing.
We should put next year. He should get a whoop.
He's working. He's got it. Adam's got it. He's going.
That's not a bad idea. We could keep the active heart rate on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Dano, keep them coming, but this is what happens when you start.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my God! What a crazy signing! The amount of money that's being paid out, obviously huge. Do we think anybody won the Super Bowl today? I really like the Raiders with Linderbaum. It's hard not to just automatically fall to that. I really like Mike Evans of San Francisco. I like that we kept Alec Pierce here. I like Pittman going to Pittsburgh. It's hard not to get excited about all of them because so much optimism and hope. But it does feel like we got a lot of positive shit done for a lot of teams today on this free agency front.
For the top tier teams, I would say that Kenneth Walker to the the Chiefs. That was huge. We were obviously matching up all these running backs to that Chief, whether it's Breece Hall or Jeremiah Love. So them getting Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker was huge. And then something that may fly under the radar, I think Wan'Dale Robinson, Tennessee, because coaching-wise, Brian Daboll taking that OC job to be Cam Ward's OC was my favorite kind of hire of the offseason. So now get more weapons in there. I like their young tight end Helm, their rookie tight end from last year. Some other weapons that obviously they need to bring up, but I love that those two signings jump out.
Yeah, Daboll is obviously going to do good things, we assume, offensively. The numbers are out now. Shefty has reported Mike Evans goes for a 3-year, $60.4 million.
Okay, that's not bad.
Jeez. 133 million per year.
Details come out,
Yeah, because that's going to be front loaded. We
Yeah.
assume this will be a salary cap gymnastics, 3 years if we had to guess. He said north of 25 is what he was hearing, so we could assume probably 50 million over the first 2 years here, 10 million for the third year potentially, however they decide to kind of structure it out. John Lynch is a madman. Obviously, he's able to accomplish these things. What a weapon for them. I love that move, Con, man. And the Patriots, eerily quiet.
Yeah, which
Eerily quiet in this whole thing, mostly because I think you've been so excited about making a move. Just because last year you guys made moves. In years past, you guys have made moves. We thought that was going to happen again with the Patriots because where you guys lie. Instead, a little bit more cerebral. Are you bummed out or excited?
No, very excited, especially just because Mike Vrabel's at the helm. You know it's probably the right decision. Yeah, I don't have to be worried like I have been in years past. I can just trust, especially because there are players out there that are trade targets. Grenard in Minnesota, A.J. Brown still out there. Move that happened early, probably one of the bigger names. Carolina Panthers feel like they went from a good football team to possibly that's a great football team. Getting Jalen Phillips as kind of that premier guy, pass rush, Trey Hendrickson being one of the other ones. But him getting paid, especially with the pieces they already have. I think Derek Brown is their all-pro D tackle. J.C. Horn, he got paid last offseason on the back end, their corner. Like the Panthers quietly making that move and then seeing the odds that they're plus 400, the longest in that division, makes me think like, okay, I'm not there all the way. Put all the chips in on the Carolina Panthers in the NFC South, but they feel like a pretty damn good football team.
Is 12 a big one for Zin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 12 I think is the biggest.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it went up to 6.
That's what I'm saying.
You can get international.
Yeah.
Well,
you got to go overseas to get 12.
Yeah, they're getting shipped in. I think they're getting shipped in.
Like rugs.
Whenever I saw that, exactly, like rugs. Those things are getting shipped into town. When I saw this man put
That's
this
the
in.
first thing that comes to your mind. Shipped in.
I just
That's
thought,
how big
rugs. Yeah, they're massive.
That thing's got even little things at the end of it, like little tassels.
Huge export import.
Tassels. Got to put that thing in there. Yeah, 12. I saw it happen.
Fine.
I don't really do a lot of the Zyn stuff. Nicotine and tobacco are just legitimately the only thing I can't, like in the whole world. It's like the only thing that my body just doesn't do well, so I've never been into it. Always at training camp with the offensive lineman, let me go ahead. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I guess we got to, and then it was always just like sick as hell. But I know the Zyn game. Okay, because there's people that toss them to me, ask me to sign them. I always feel honored when I'm doing that. And Parker McCollum, I watched him at one of his concerts catch one, look at the dosage, shrug the person off, and throw it back. That's when I knew, like, oh, they're competing here in what they're doing.
Levels.
I had a chance to kind of learn about it. I thought 6 was the max as well. Then I watched Human pull one out, and I'm reading the thing from far, and it's not Zyn, it's some other company, and it says 12 on it. I'm like, I've never seen that before.
Jeez.
2 of them.
2 12 pieces?
Yeah. It's 4 6s.
And then I watched.
That's a lot of nicotine.
Holy hell. This man was still alive. Somebody else tried one that we know. Okay? He might be an Emmy Award-winning TikTok editor.
Duck-footed.
Okay? Duck-footed.
Runs
runs sideways, but also forward. Okay? All those types
Was
of
that
things.
volunteer?
Yeah, he was, exactly. He was there.
tribute.
Goodbye.
Yeah, and he should have known.
Night.
He's a 3 guy.
He's a 3 guy.
So
he went to sleep. I mean, he was dead in the seat. They had to hit him. Had to hit him for when it was his turn to talk. Somebody
freaked out.
Yeah, one. So in that moment, I was like, you know what? This is going to be a great football team soon, I think. I think this team's got something that nobody else has.
Okay.
Maybe even, I don't know if Braves could. I don't know. I don't even know.
Braves is smoking cigs while he's got Zinn in.
Yeah.
Which,
We're inside. We don't know if that was a possibility.
Yeah.
There's
True.
a chance that would have been happening as well.
I think I know what we're talking about.
It was outrageous. It was unbelievable stuff. Okay, let's head over to the free agency fun zone. Dano, Schrags, as we wrap up here on ESPN, can you two give us your favorite moves that have happened thus far? Favorite money spent? Schrags, we'll start with you, pal.
I love the whole symphony of the Mike Evans deal. We thought Tampa was going to make a big push. They did. It turns out he had the 49ers in play. Dan Orlovsky, to his credit, named them as the surprise team. He did have the 49ers. I want to give him love there. But this is why this free agency frenzy is so wild. I thought we were going to find out at 12:01. It took till 2:30 p.m. Eastern until Mike Evans announced it. And he just put out a statement with his agent, Derek Gilmore, thanking the Buccaneers for what they did to him in his life. But when you see an all-time player from a franchise take his game and say, I'm going to go finish my career somewhere else, it is a significant moment in the sport. And I think Mike Evans was a wonderful Buccaneer, but on to better ventures. He goes over to the San Francisco 49ers, and he's going to look to go win another chip with Brock Purdy and those boys.
I think the best move is Striggs and I being at the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
First time.
So fun.
A blast. A blast.
So fun.
My first time here, a blast.
Could I tell you this real quick? John Schneider, GM of the Seahawks, who's been eerily quiet, texted me and goes, what is that 1970s playroom that you guys are in? I go, I love it. I never want to be anywhere else. This is where I want to be.
This is great.
Free agency frenzy with Dano. Let's go. Let's ride.
Welcome, boys. Welcome, boys. Shout out to Ben, Mystic, and the two bald Mikes out of New York that built that place up over there. Great work. Phenomenal workers.
We got to try and keep this.
Pretty cool.
We got to try and keep this sign.
I don't think so.
It's going to be staying here.
I don't think so.
All right.
We'll see you guys tomorrow, maybe.
As far as football, I'm a line and scrimmage person. So, Raiders, Linderbaum, I think it's absolutely huge. Jalen Phillips going to Carolina, absolutely huge. I think Mike Evans going to San Francisco as well, not because of kind of like us being ahead of it. I just think Mike Evans is one of those difference-making, the way you have to line up against an offense and play them. D-Butt knows this. How many corners do you really sit there and say, yep, you can play Mike by yourself? Specifically down in the low red zone. There's just not a lot. And so, I just think Kyle Shanahan's going to use him as this piece to free up so much for their offense. And so I think that's a massive signing. I also think the Rams had a great day because the addition of Jalen Watson was a big deal outside of the acquisition of McDuffie.
I expected some more movement from the corners. Lante Taylor, Tariq Woolen up there at the top. Some Josh Jobs, Super Bowl champ.
Jamel Dean went to the Steelers.
That was
Kobe.
a great sign.
We still got play. We had a lot of moves made. I appreciate you guys over there in the free agency fun zone. You guys crushed it today.
Hell yeah.
Well done.
You guys crushed it today.
So cool. Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm very thankful for that. Let's head into the man who's been breaking all this news, who will continue to be live from this room for the next 50 straight hours. Chef D, your big moves of the day. Did everything happen how you thought it was going to happen when we started?
Well, I think Jalen Phillips going to Carolina was a surprise that upset some things.
Got to take a call.
You want to give me 1 minute? Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Mute him. Okay, is it worth anything? I'm on TV right now. Turn on your TV right now. I'm literally on here right now. They're showing me. I'm at the Thunderdome. It's the whole thing.
So Jalen Phillips, I think that leaves Philadelphia in an interesting spot. Tyler Linderbaum reset the market on centers. And it's interesting. The agent is a man by the name of Neil Cornrich. Neil Cornrich, at the outset of free agency in the first year, took Kirk Loudermilk, making $200,000 a year, and brought him to Indianapolis on a $2.15 million deal over 3 years. He got the highest paid center in free agency when free agency opened, and now, all these years later, you have a situation where Tyler Linderbaum resets the market. The Raiders get a quarterback for their offensive line. This was the player that the new head coach, Clint Kubiak, wanted most of all. They were going to do everything they could to get him. He becomes the highest paid interior offensive lineman in NFL history. Nobody would ever have thought $27 million a year for a center. But that's what we saw. Right now, A.Q. Shipley's weeping. You're seeing all the punter deals. Pat, you're weeping.
Yeah.
And I'm weeping because the Wi-Fi in this room is very wonky, and I've had a very hard time.
Yeah. I heard we plugged you in. We appreciate you. How about this? Before we send this off to Laura Rutledge in the SportsCenter NFL Free Agency Frenzy special, Darian Kennard, Green Bay Packers swing tackle with great hair, phenomenal flow, 4 years in the league, 3 Super Bowls, no big deal. 1 year deal worth up to $3.7 $1.75 million to Green Bay.
Wow, love it. Love it. He's a great player.
All right, Shefty, we appreciate you. We'll continue to watch. Dano and Schrags will continue their days on NFL Live. We obviously will continue to follow along with everything happening around the NFL because it's the greatest league on earth. And days like today tell us why. Dreams came true. There was a lot of first-time bags entering bank accounts where people have been earning and working their entire lives for that. Not just them, their communities, their families. Now they're finding homes in new places, trying to lift that organization to the tippy top. Because if you don't win the Super Bowl, does any of it matter?
No.
Nope. But the money's good. Over $1.55 billion already. Dang. Laura Rutledge and Sports Center will continue. Then NFL Live. We can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this for a living. You're the best people on earth. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together, and we're back tomorrow. Team on me, team on three. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.